The Padres don't win 5 games in a row leading up to the deadline. Do they still do exactly what they did today? Like, say they actually kind of trip a little bit here. Go 2-3.
My guess is yes. That's a really good question. I wish that was asked.
Last 5 days impact you at all?
Yeah.
Operated today?
That's a great question.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 1 of the rest of our lives. It is the new look Padres, as Jim just said in the update. It feels a little bit like, well, the last few trade deadlines. When you have that new team last year and they made the stretch run, I go back to 2022, of course, Juan Soto's debut at Petco Park in that atmosphere. And I can only imagine what the atmosphere will be tonight. St. Louis in town. Padres, by the way, in all the discussion yesterday, Jim, about the trade deadline, very rarely did we mention what we just heard in the update, which is they've won 5 consecutive games. They trail the LA Dodgers by 3 games in the division. They're closer to the Dodgers than they are to the top wild card. I think that still holds true entering the day. So everything is still in front of this team. And I know the Lucy pulls the football out analogy, and I know the Dodgers have won this division a lot. And I know the Padres have work to do to secure a seed that is better than 6. But they're well positioned from a playoff perspective. This now, like this, the story changes for me. It's not about making the postseason. You know, a lot of people would anticipate the Padres being in a good spot to make the postseason. It's what can they do beyond that to set themselves up for the postseason? Can you secure a higher seed? Can you vie in the division over the final 50 or so games? We can talk about some of the numbers and the odds and the math on it, but like they're in a good spot. I read ESPN today, Alden Gonzalez saying the Padres are a legitimate threat to the Dodgers in the National League West. I know we haven't even seen this team in the field, but, man, it feels like something that can at least be discussed. Can the Padres work their way up in the National League, whether it's the West or just in the wild card as well?
Yeah, you forget they play baseball again.
Yeah, they're going to do that in 4 hours.
Like, the trade deadline happened. Yep. Yesterday was crazy. It was wild. AJ Preller, potentially the most wild trade deadline ever. I know 2022 would like a word with 2025's trade deadline. But still, yesterday – taking 22 out of the equation, yesterday in itself was just insane if you're a Padres fan.
Yeah.
Addressing every single one of their needs. I mean, shoot, we were talking earlier this week about all their needs, and we came up with, you know, the 5 needs that they needed to address at the deadline, or at least you would like to see them address. And we're like, if they can address like 2 or 3 of those 5 needs, that coming out of the trade deadline would be considered like a win.
Sure.
Nah, he addressed every single one of them. And then some. It was like another one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need a bat. Here's a couple bats, and here's a catcher, and here's a couple starters, and here's a back end bullpen piece. Like, what? It did everything. And then you also have to bring it back to, all right, they have to go out in the field and prove it now. AJ Preller has done his job. AJ Preller has given Mike Shildt the necessary tools to go out there to manage, you know, the games that how he wants to manage with off the bench and in the bullpen. And then it's up to the players in turn to go out and perform. Because AJ's done. AJ's job is done.
Go to Tahiti. I mean, go to Cancun. Take time off. Seriously, like don't even watch tonight. If you're AJ, there are general managers, of course, Billy Beane infamously or famously, that doesn't watch. I mean, he's done his work. There's always more work to be done, obviously. I'm kidding. But really, it is time to kick your feet up to some extent and watch this team take on a new life. Because that's the one thing we don't know, is that you can have all the talent in the world, but you can't have a collection of pieces. You have to put it all together. What I like about what they did is they already have a core here. They're not creating a new core. Like the core already exists. They're rounding out a roster. The famous term, are you top heavy or are you deep? Are you well-rounded or are you star heavy? You know, I always go back to like the Angels teams. They've had some of the best players in the history of the sport play for the Angels in the last decade. They won't squat. The longest playoff drought in the sport is in Anaheim. And they've had one of the best players in the sport in Mike Trout and another one in Shohei Ohtani. It's not about having great players or a collection of talent. It's about having a good team. This is where Mike Shildt gets credit. He's managed a variety of teams that have won to varying degrees in regular seasons. I do think he needs to win at a higher level in the postseason. And this team is set up to get to the postseason. This team is set up for the postseason. The question becomes, what do they do when they get there? And I can't fast forward because I want to watch this play out. This reminds me, and I use this analogy as well. This reminds me always of It's that one last night in Vegas. Your buddy's wife is about to have a kid. You're starting a job in Sacramento. It's my last time hanging out with you guys. We haven't seen each other in a couple of years. We might not again for another couple of years. This is like a moment in time. The 2025 Padres, they'll look different in 2026, but this is a moment in time. Enjoy it. It's early in the night. We don't know what we're getting into. Later on, there's going to be highs and lows. You're going to win at the craps table. I'm going to lose. There's still highs and lows, but this is the beginning of our final night in Vegas. What do we make of it? That's what I make of the 2025 Padres here on August 1st. We know they're good. How good? And we got to watch it play out for the next 3 months.
Because we are entering sprint mode. We are in August. It's officially August. August 1st is today. The dog days of the baseball season. And can they take the new players that they acquired? Can those players adapt to this team fast enough? Can they contribute right away? And can the players that are already here, the main core guys that you're talking about, still continue to produce like they have for the last 5 games, resulting in a 5-game winning streak? Can they carry that now into August? I think there's a good chance. I feel really good about this team now, especially after the trade deadline. I felt good even before the trade deadline. I said, look, do I think this Padres team could make the postseason without any trades? And this was on Wednesday after they swept the Mets. I think we both agreed, yes. But could they legitimately compete for a World Series or hell, even a division?
Harder. Yep, harder. I think after yesterday and having a night to sleep on it, game on, man. I feel really good. Game on. The Dodgers, I know it feels like just getting the ball taken away from us under our feet again. You play them twice this month. You have a real good opportunity to go out there and take it. You're not relying, and you're not going to rely on the Dodgers to lose a bunch of games because you get to play them. You get 6 cracks of the Dodgers in August. You're 3 back. Now that means you also have to play well leading up to those series and after those series. But the good thing is you had 6 more opportunities against that team to do some real damage. And you've loaded up, you've retooled, you've addressed all your needs. Now it's up to this team to go out and do their job. And looking at Fangraphs today, because that's kind of where you're at right now. You're like, okay, after yesterday and all the moves that the Padres made, where do the Padres sit as far as playoff odds and World Series odds, and hell, throw division odds in there as well. Okay. What do you got?
So on Wednesday, after the Padres swept the Mets, before the trade deadline, before all the moves they made, the Padres had a 6% chance to win the division. They had a 73% chance to make the postseason and just a 2.8% chance to win the World Series.
Okay.
All right. That was on Wednesday night. After the trade deadline, John, they now sit at, according to Fangraphs, they have a 13% chance to win the division, an 88% chance to make the postseason, and a 6% chance to win the World Series. So like doubled everywhere except for making the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense. Sometimes people discount the Fangraphs. I do not.
I kind of do, but it's interesting to look at.
The math speaks to me way more than anything else, and it changes every single day, but it puts things in perspective. Here's what it just put in perspective. You're going to make the postseason, but once you get there, your odds remain long. But 6% chance of winning the World Series when it was a 1% earlier this year. I mean, you're starting to get in the category where like 6% is better than 1 and 20. I mean, you got at least, again, we go back to what we said yesterday. You got to get yourself into the postseason. The more cracks you get at something, eventually you're going to break through. And they've had some opportunities here in the 2020s. This could be their 4th trip to the postseason. They haven't made it further than an NLCS in this time period. But again, you get in 3 out of 4 years, 4 out of 6 years, 6 out of 8 years, you're giving yourself an opportunity. And then I read today at ESPN.com, both Alden Gonzalez and Jesse Rogers. The question was this: real or not, the Padres are now a legitimate threat to dethrone the Dodgers. We've asked this question. We've gone down this path 10 times in 10 years. And Alden Gonzalez answers it by saying real, very much so, and talks about the fact that they're only 3 games out. He says there's no denying The Padres are a legitimate threat. Jesse Rogers, who's been on the show a number of times, Owen Gonzalez has as well. Jesse Rogers also saying in the real or fake conversation, real to the Padres as a threat to dethrone the Dodgers. So it doesn't mean it will happen. And you just said their division odds are what to win the division? 18%?
No, it's almost 14%.
So lower than 18. 14% is not a very good chance of doing anything, obviously.
But did I say? Yeah, it's 13.1%.
So that means there's an 87% chance they don't win the division. So, is it worth having the lengthy conversation when there's an 87% chance it doesn't happen and a 13% chance it does? Again, 13 is going to happen. 1 out of every 8 times that's going to come up on a roulette table. So it's more likely than it was a day or two ago.
2 days ago, they were at 4% to win the division. 2 days ago, they had a 65% chance to make the postseason, according to Fangraphs. 2 days later, after the trade deadline, they're damn near at 90% to make the postseason, according to Fangraphs.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple days ago, their World Series percentage odds, according to Fangraphs, was like right at 2%.
Yeah,
now we're at 6%.
Yeah.
So clearly, the moves they've made impacted how Fangraphs feels about them. I think we can all see this is a postseason roster. This is a deep team addressing all of their weak links, as AJ Preller said yesterday. You got to address your weak links, and you can't have weak links on a team if you expect to win a World Series. And that's what they did. And Fangraphs has seen it. Alden Gonzalez has seen it. The only place that really hasn't seen it is Vegas yet, because they still have the Padres outside the top 10 in World Series odds. But still, I feel really good about this team. Now they just have to go out and prove it.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I don't even know what they're capable of proving before the postseason, because they're not going to tell us told you so by making the postseason. They might do it by winning the division. They might do it by becoming the top wild card and getting a home playoff series. So that's why I started there. I need to see them move up the pecking order in the National League. Of course, that doesn't guarantee them anything, but you got a better chance. Like, let's be clear, when you talk about the math, what gives you a better chance to get to a World Series? 6-seed road playoff series, extra playoff round, or win the division, get a bye potentially. And even if you don't get a bye, you're hosting a playoff series. It's not close.
That's what I've been saying.
Well, no, it's what gives you a better chance to win.
I know. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times people are like, hey, just make the postseason. It's a crapshoot. Anything could happen. I'm like, go for the division.
Well, of course. I mean, go for everything. Of course. It's like, go win the World Series. I mean, it's easier said than done. But if you get in, you still have a chance. But this is a team that is in position to improve its standing. That's why you want to capitalize on it. Nobody's ever denied having a bye gives you a better chance to go further than not having a bye. But you can still win without having a bye. Arizona, 2023. Philadelphia was in a World Series. So I'm just saying the math supports playing fewer games or playing games at home. Not to say it's impossible. I just want to have them improve their chances of making the run, which I think they're capable of doing over the next 2 months by playing well.
Because last year in the postseason, if the Dodgers don't have that bye, they were banged up.
True.
And they were kind of limping their way to the postseason, and they needed a little time off. If they didn't have that bye, who knows what happens?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't win. I don't know.
Advantage of setting your rotation. I mean, there are advantages, I would think, even though it hasn't 100% played out in this new era of postseason baseball with the buys.
And the advantage that you would get is it's such a big advantage to have that week off. Now, I feel like we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Well, you could even win the division and not get the week off, because one team wins the division and doesn't.
But still, I think bringing us back down to earth a little bit instead of what seed will they get in the postseason? Take care of business. Keep taking care of business, and it starts tonight. Petco Park tonight, man. And we were there in 2022. I feel like same vibes, probably better.
Yeah, no, I mean this team right now, dude. You're starting the second half post trade deadline with a 4-game lead on the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, you better make the postseason. That is no longer the expectation with the 2025 San Diego Padres. Although to your point, Vegas hasn't necessarily recognized it. The Padres World Series chances in Vegas improved, didn't they? We'll discuss on the other side. Plus, great show lined up for you. Alan Slewa, lifelong Padres fan, will join us at 3:30.
He was texting
to
us
talk about these moves.
He was like, I just want to talk to you guys about the Padres.
He texted with us yesterday. Kyle Glazer, of course, great on major and minor leagues, will join us at 4:30. And Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, on the deadline at 5 p.m. Don't go anywhere. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, the iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by The Offspring and more, September 19th and 20th in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Ticket today, XS.com. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000. We've got your first chance to win starting Monday at 9 a.m. Get all the information at sportssd.com/festival. The Padres have made the following moves, and there are moves to be made when you acquire 5, 6, 7 players at the deadline. But right-handed reliever Ron Marinaccio
There you go.
has been optioned to AAA. And Tyler Wade, who has spent the better part of the last 2 years on the Padres in the major leagues, has been designated for assignment.
No.
Now, before you react overly to Tyler Wade being designated, he was designated this season.
Is Schilt okay?
Well, he was designated this year and still ended up on the Padres this year. So he could absolutely end up in AAA, and then rosters expand 1 month from today and could be back up. But yes, Tyler Wade, at least for the time being, will not be on the major league roster for the Padres.
If I were down there for Schilte's scrum today, obviously we can never be there because we have a radio show.
Right. Do a
Easiest
show from down there. We could do a live remote from on field.
Yeah, that would not be allowed.
Okay.
The easiest softball question ever to get Schilte to like talk for at least 3 or 4 minutes is
What has Tyler Wade meant to this team?
100%.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, he would.
I think he'll be asked it.
Who's going to ask it?
My
guess is Scan.
Yeah. But there's so much movement, it
yeah.
probably gets buried because there's all these new players.
Probably, but I bet you that hey, Mike, you lost some guys to add some pieces. What could you say about the players that you had to trade away on this roster and let go? Like,
how much time you got, Scan? How much time you got? I bet he speaks to the media today because he's gonna be so excited about the additions and so heartfelt about.
I mean, over
10. Over 10 minutes.
I'm gonna go 12.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see
anything less than that. I'd be surprised.
Okay, Brent's taking the under on 12 or 10.
Under on 12.
Yes, definitely under on 12.
Okay,
maybe even on 10.
I'll take over on. You know what? Let's split the difference. 11 minutes. I win if it's under 11. You win if it's over 11. But I'm with you. I think it's going to be a very long press conference.
I'm almost hoping
for Mike Schilt.
A long one.
I know. I think it's going to happen. We'll hear from Mike Schilt later today. Alan Slewa at 3:30. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. will join us as well. Kyle Glaser is just great on the trade deadline and the Padres prospects and the system. Will join us coming up at 4:30. So we saw earlier today that World Series odds, of course, were updated because now we're past the trade deadline. We're into August. And this from earlier, where you've got the top 10 teams with the shortest odds to win the World Series. Certainly the Padres have to be among the 10 teams with the shortest odds to win the World Series, right? How could they not be? They're 60 and 49. They're playing well. They've upgraded everywhere, and they're not. They are not currently among the 10 teams with the best odds to win the World Series. They are 11th right now, anywhere between 17-1 and 24-1. And the books can be slow to update, and that could change in hours or days. But Vegas pretends like they didn't even do anything, Jim, and they haven't won 5 consecutive games. The Dodgers are plus 285 to win the World Series, right? The shortest odds in baseball. So they got like a 2.5-1, a 3-1 chance to win the World Series per Vegas. Padres are 17-1, 20-1, 24-1. So as we've seen Fangraphs numbers kind of put these teams closer to each other, that hasn't necessarily represented itself as of yet in Las Vegas.
Sorry, I was very distracted.
Okay.
I know where you're going with this, but we have a lineup.
Oh, great. Okay.
I figured that's easy. That's something that we could change courses on here.
Sure, do it.
All right, the Padres lineup is as such. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off in right field. Luis Arraez at first base hitting second. Manny Machado at third, hitting third. Jackson Merrill's your cleanup hitter in center field. Xander Bogaerts is hitting fifth at shortstop. Ramon Laureano's in left field. Jake Cronenworth's at second. Jose Iglesias is your DH and Elias Diaz is your catcher.
So there's only one real change, and that's Ramon Laureano. Who are they facing tonight for St. Louis?
My guess would be a lefty.
Yeah, that's my guess as well, but I don't know who they're facing.
Libator. So they're facing lefties.
Okay,
tonight.
so they're facing a lefty. So the lefty O'Hearn is on the bench.
Wow, look at that lineup.
Fermin.
Wow, look at that lineup.
Fermin is on the. This is assuming Fermin is there. I haven't seen a roster as of yet, but assuming Fermin and O'Hearn are there. Fermin's a right-handed catcher. But the lineup actually looks pretty similar, does it not? I mean, you have Ramon Laureano, which is great.
Your
He's had
number
a great
eight,
year.
Your number 8 and 9 hitters are still like
it's like
really bad offensive players.
All that talk, and you're reading the lineup, and I'm looking at it. Listen, Laureano's a very good player, and now you're putting Jay Cronenworth 7th, and Jose Iglesias has hit, not this year, but he has hit. But it looks similar for a day, maybe because they're facing a lefty. But when you do put Ryan O'Hearn in there, and you do put Freddie Fermin in there, it'll look better. But right now, it's like, oh, you added one bat, but they actually added like 3.
I'm actually kind of surprised at this lineup. I did not expect that. Now, I did kind of have a feeling that Fermin wouldn't be behind the plate tonight, just because it might take him a couple days to acclimate.
Learn the signs,
right? Learn the staff, and Pavetta's got a good thing going this year, obviously. So maybe give him a day or two to learn the staff, learn the signs, get ready to go. Why is Iglesias in there?
Well, I mean, I have no problem with Iglesias being in there. I mean, Iglesias has been serviceable because he's valuable defensively. He hasn't hit a lick, but again, the lineup is improved. And then when you want to make a move off your bench, you have moves to make.
Your bench is loaded.
The thing is, they didn't used to have moves to make with their bench. I mean, Trenton Brooks was their magic bullet. What are these guys? What's Ryan O'Hearn if Trenton Brooks was a magic bullet? What's Gavin Sheets? They're like a magic everything.
O'Hearn this year is hitting 232 off lefties with a 667 OPS.
So he hasn't hit lefties.
Against righties this year, he's hitting 294 with an 874 OPS.
Well, I like that. So he will basically be strictly used probably against right-handed pitching. Basically, I mean, that's what I could say. That's what better teams do. Better teams take advantage of that advantage. Mm-hmm. You platoon hitters that are better against one side than the other. That is a luxury Mike Schilt didn't have until a few hours ago, that he has the luxury to maneuver his lineup based on if it's a left-handed starter or a right-handed starter to put his team in a position to score more runs, hopefully,
and
moving forward.
This year, the splits for Liriano, kind of interesting. Against righties, he's hitting 305 this year with a 931 OPS. Against lefties, he's only hitting 261 with an 800 OPS, which is very respectable. But still, I thought those numbers would be flipped. They're obviously not. But he is in there against the lefty tonight. I would have liked to see either O'Hearn or Sheets as a DH tonight, just to make your lineup deeper. I know there's a lefty on the mound, but I mean, Sheets has been playing every day against lefties. O'Hearn's been playing every day against lefties.
I like playing the matchups. You know what I mean? Like when you have a left-handed starter on the mound, you should not play left-handed hitters that don't hit left-handed pitching. You know, that's where you get Gavin Sheets potentially exposed. I think that's maybe over the last month of this. So much time. I'm starting pitchers for runs. You're going to see them. You're going to see them a lot. But I'm opposed to sitting left-handers and starting pitchers. We're going to react. The shot again. Alice Blizzard prior to the podcast was 30. These show coming at 5 p.m. 877-767-760. If you want to weigh in on that line or what to expect, 877-767-760 with John.
All right, this update is brought to you by Lowe's. The new look Padres start a 3-game series with the Cardinals tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound tonight for the Pods. And NFL news of the day: Micah Parsons, he has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after contract disputes with Jerry Jones. Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's right now. Get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Shop big deals in-store or online today. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associates for details.
All right, so the Padres' first lineup post-deadline is out as they face a left-handed starting pitcher, and they will have that deep bench tonight with Ryan O'Hearn and Gavin Sheets. And actually, the lineup looks similar. You've added Ramon Laureano to it, but the lineup does look similar to what it previously looked at. But you do the deeper dive, and believe it or not, Jose Iglesias this year has a higher OPS than both Ryan O'Hearn and Gavin Sheets against left-handed pitching. I now see that as a luxury that Mike Schild has. When a lefty is on the mound, he has options against left-handed pitching. When a righty comes into the game, you unleash the hounds, so to speak, because you have guys that have really cleaned up against right-handed pitching this year. So they've absolutely improved this lineup, and they have much more flexibility. And more often than not, you're going to see O'Hearn and you're going to see Sheets because there's much more right-handed pitching in baseball than there is left-handed pitching. So I think it works out well post-deadline, depending on how they play and how they look.
Just 2 days ago, their bench consisted of Trent Brooks, Tyler Wade, Bryce Johnson, Martin Maldonado, and Jose Iglesias. And then today on Friday, their bench is Freddie Fermin, Ryan O'Hearn, Gavin Sheets, Bryce Johnson. Who am I missing?
Yeah, who are we missing in there?
Who are we missing? Because Wadey got
just got DFA'd. And the offensive additions were Fermin, O'Hearn, Laureano, Wade's in AAA, the kid, or Wagner's in AAA.
Wagner's in AAA. Fermin's up. Maldonado's gone. Wadey's gone. Bryce Johnson's still here. Trent Brooks was DFA'd.
Yeah.
Who are we missing?
Someone put in the chat. Are we missing someone?
Well, no, we aren't, because one of the 5 players I named was in the lineup as a DH 100%. Or a third base. That's or whatever. Right. So we're not missing anybody.
That's what we were saying yesterday. When you include the DH, it's 4 players.
Yes.
Position players.
So their bench tonight, 4 players, is Freddie Fermin, Ryan O'Hearn, Gavin Sheets, and Bryce Johnson.
And Bryce Johnson's played really well for this team.
He has.
Specifically in July.
That's called an upgrade.
Huge
boys
upgrade.
And girls.
And not just upgrading their bench, but you'll see when they face right-handed pitching, look at their lineup. It's going to look a lot better than it looked Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon against the Mets. 877-767-4760. Alan Slee was going to join us at 3:30. Kyle Glazer at 4:30. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. But let's go to the phones and Eric. Eric's on line 1. And Eric, thanks for calling in to John and Jim.
Yeah, of course, guys. It's always a pleasure to listen when I get a chance. I heard you guys talking about the lineup and our bench. One thing I want to mention about our bench is, and I hope it sticks around deep into the postseason, is Bryce Johnson. I like the X factor of having a switch hitter and speed in a short series and in the postseason. And then another thing, when these trades happened the other day, I think it was the left-handed kid from Oakland, the pitcher Spears, if I'm mistaken. I initially thought, okay, we're going in to face Tommy, Freeman, Harper, and Schwarber, makes sense to look at exposed versus left-handed batters. Better time 830 or 840 OPS, and I was blown away by that. So I don't know if you guys captured that or not. Today.
Here's what I say about JP's here. Let's see what he looks like after having a little bit of time and with his catchers as well. And maybe a longer term project. I'm not expecting JP there to be like 5-year rate of 2.8. Look, I have no idea to expect from JP after these now for the Padres. I don't expect him to hopefully look at the Padres. I want to see. We've seen him pitch before. I don't know what the expectations are for JPC in the short term.
I don't know where Sears is rotation. I I know that Bernie Vex is scheduled to kickstart.
Mm-hmm.
They got options. I don't know if Mr. Cortez. I don't know if he's from rotation. My guess is he's got a usually roster. So
Yeah, because he's been rehabbing.
yeah.
So once he's healthy, I would assume that's correct.
So yeah, we're still waiting to see, I think, the full new look Padres roster here after all the moves they made. But the good thing is they'll figure it out, and they have options, and they have good problems to have.
They do. I mean, again, they look more to me like the 2024 version of the San Diego Padres. Now they have to play like that in the weeks and months ahead. We were touching on these World Series odds before we got into the lineup, and the Padres still remain outside the top 10 teams in terms of the best chances of winning the World Series. But I'm not overly concerned by that. It may certainly be worth more than a flyer wager the next time you're in Las Vegas. We've told you their World Series chances per Fangraphs have improved, obviously, over the course of the last 24 or 48 hours. Still not one of the 10 teams that are most likely to win the World Series. I don't know how much that really even makes sense, other than the fact that 12 teams are going to make the playoffs. So, okay, maybe you're that 11th or 12th team right now on the outside looking in, which is fine. I mean, whether they have the 11th shortest odds or the 7th shortest odds, I guess it's a reflection of what others think. And like for the outside looking in, I don't know if people have picked up as of yet what is playing out with this roster and how this team is playing just in general right now.
You know why?
Why is that?
They haven't played one single game with the new look roster. I think once they start playing, and if they play well, then I think we can see what happened last year happen this year. They got to play well, though.
Yep.
If they do, then I think those odds would go up, because Padres last year at one point were the World Series. They took all the trades that they made and played really good baseball. Vegas noticed, everybody noticed, and they were like ready to play going to seeing that a lot of people.
They were not the World Series going into the postseason. They were for a brief moment when they led Dodgers in the series. But they didn't go into that Dodgers series as they fit to win the World Series. The Dodgers were favored to win that series against the Padres until all of a sudden it was the Padres that flew the script for 3 games. And that series won. But yeah, the Padres last year into the postseason had a better chance to win the World Series 2025 team as of right now has, according to Vegas. But I think a lot of people are intrigued. I think people are like, I think there's no work when it comes to baseball. You've got a perfect scenario with St. Louis at home. There were fireworks back and forth last week. The game podcast. Then you have Arizona. Arizona has traded off, including one of the best hitters in baseball in Suarez. So you've got back-to-back series where you're going to be a favorite, hopefully to win those series. And then we talked about it, the August schedule, which looks challenging a week or two ago. It doesn't even look near the same now that San Francisco has sold off and played so poorly. So right in front of them, Jim, they don't even have to play perfect baseball, but man, they have an opportunity to really play well. I don't know if they can do what they did last year with that run, but I think they can play well just based on the additions and the schedule that they have.
I 100% agree with that. I can't, I want to see it.
Yeah.
We can talk about it till we're blue in the face. I just want to see it. And if they go out and they don't skip a beat as a team and they only get better because of how they added on the margins and upgraded at areas of strength, like, then you know what? Yeah, I'll buy into it 100%. I'm bought in for sure. But seeing it, it's going to feel even more real once we see it actually happen. Like we saw last year, the moves they made. I mean, you got to a point, it was like, you felt every day, they're not losing this game.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lead after the 6th inning, boom, they're not losing.
Right.
So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm excited as hell to watch the new look Padres on offense. Like the bats, that's something that we've been asking for the last 3 months. But more so this bullpen. Like, man, this bullpen, bro, I can't wait to see what Schulte does. After an off day, he could go out and do what we've been talking about that you said they won't do until the postseason, which would be funny. I also don't think that because it's Pivetta tonight.
Yeah,
if it was
you
like
shouldn't-
Randy Vasquez, maybe, but
It shouldn't be your goal to use all 5 of them. Your goal should be to keep the bullpen fresh,
True.
in my opinion. That to me, the
He's like,
primary
"Screw it."
goal, like you trying to beat Arizona in August or you trying to beat LA in October. There's a big difference. All right, much more on this on the other side. We're here until 6 p.m. Kyle Glazer at 4:30. Alan Slewa will join us coming up at 3:30. Kevin Acey, our Padres Insider at 5 p.m. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We remind you, download the all-new iHeartRadio app. And once you do it, make sure to put San Diego Sports 760 and John and Jim in your presets. We've got A good show lined up for you. Alan Slewa will join us, friend of the show, Padres lifelong fan, covers the Lakers, but also loves talking Padres. He'll join us at 3:30. Kyle Glazer used to be with Baseball America, now Friar Territory. He'll join us at 4:30. Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5 p.m. The Cardinals really have fallen off. There was that brief glimmer of hope, I thought, after they won the first 2 games against the Padres, and that feels like a long time ago.
That was only a week ago.
And it was only 1 week. They are now all the way back to 500 at 55-55. The Padres from that point have taken off. They've won their last 5 games. And then in the interim as well, the Cardinals have sold off some of their pieces as well. So again, things can happen. I've seen bad teams play well, teams with no expectations play well in the second half. It's not to say St. Louis has no shot. They can't win a series. They can't compete in the second half. They can. I tend to agree with the sentiment that you can bury them with a series win. Like they might already be buried, but you can actually put nails in coffins just by doing what you're supposed to do. You don't have to sweep anyone. You win 2 out of 3. St. Louis is under 500. See you in 2026. Let's be honest. But they take 2 out of 3. Or they do something more than that. There's that glimmer of hope. You don't want to give any team hope. That's how I look at the series. Win the series, check another team off the list.
And it's baseball, so the odds of a bad team playing really good baseball here in August and September, or having a stretch where they win like 9 of 11,
Happens all the
it's
time.
very high. Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, look at the Marlins this year.
Yeah.
Right? They've done it,
Exactly.
and you're like, oh, they're kind of good. You know, A's earlier this season, I think they were, or maybe it was last season, I don't remember.
Right.
But still, White Sox coming out of the break, it's like their offense was on fire. You know, you're gonna see some bad teams in the sport have a good week or two. You know, they get hot. And it's all about when you play teams and the timing of when you play teams. So it's a little bit of a landmine situation at times with bad teams, because you don't want to catch a bad team playing good baseball. Like the Padres just played the Marlins, right? They're not a good team, but they were in the midst of a
Playing well.
really good stretch. They were, I think, 16-6 coming into that series.
Right.
Or 16-5, I think.
Yeah,
it
they're
was.
playing well.
Yeah, they're playing really good baseball. And what happened? You lost 2 of 3. So it is a little bit of a landmine situation. And if you do encounter something or a team that is playing good baseball that's not a good baseball team, your guard's got to be up. You can't just expect to go and take 2 or 3 every single series against a bad baseball team.
Although my expectation tonight is for the Padres to win. And the reason I say it is Nick Pivetta is elite, not just this year, but at home he's better. He's got a 2.07. He's 6-0. He's feasted at home.
Is that good?
He took a loss, didn't he? Or the Padres took the loss in St. Louis the day he pitched. He did not pitch poorly in that game. He worked all the way into the 7th inning. They lost that game. They had lost 4 straight. We said he was the stopper, remember? That night. They didn't win it. It didn't feel great in the moment. And from that moment on, the Padres have really played well. But yeah, Nick Pivetta, you know, some of the moves they haven't made. We're going to talk all about the deadline. Mason Miller, Leo DeVries, Laureano O'Hearn. The offseason move for Pivetta obviously is one of the biggest moves that AJ Preller made to boost this team's chances in 2025. Under the radar, came late. We said maybe camp was open. Maybe pitchers and catchers had reported.
It was the day of pitchers and
It's
catchers.
crazy. I mean, we had spent all offseason. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Do they have money? Do they have money? Same thing we did at the deadline. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Do they have money? Do they have money? And it's kind of amazing. You look at Pivetta, you look at the moves they made at this deadline, and they've solved issues that we thought were tough to solve.
They don't have a lot of money.
No, they did it without spending money.
It's not like they went out and made all these moves and they added like $15-20 million to their payroll.
Right.
Future commitments, we'll see. But as far as just this year alone goes, I think the number's around like 4 they added.
Yeah, we're trying to do the math. We'll ask Kevin when he joins us, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's much more than that.
I think I saved it here. The number that the Padres.
Do you have it?
I think I do. I might. Probably actually don't. Nope, I don't have it.
Okay.
I thought I did, because their number was 262 going into the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it shot up to 266 or
Okay.
267.
Okay.
So again, they didn't add a ton of money. They added a little money.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to credit John Seiler, because I was worried. I was worried with everything that we have been hearing and all the reports of look, they're not going to add a bunch of money here. They're actually trying to subtract so they can actually add more pieces because they're, right up against their number for the year. Well, now we know they are above the second tax threshold for the season. And they're not going below it. So they're going to end this year above the second tax of 261. They were never going to be anywhere close to the third tax threshold of 281. But I think it's a significant sign that the organization showed all the fans is we are still going to spend money. We're not going to slash this thing down and stay under a certain threshold. And we're going to do what's necessary to win. And we're going to give AJ Preller the opportunity to go out and do what he needs to do to make this team the best it possibly can be.
How about this Spot Track, which there's no site better. I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah. Spot
Track currently has the Padres all the way up to their taxable payroll of $272 million, sixth highest in the sport.
Now, is that including the tax that they're going to be taxed if they go over? Or is that just like
no? That's the payroll that is taxed. So okay, that's saying that there's a $10 million increase. We don't know what they got back from the Milwaukee Brewers in this deal. We don't know how the money all shakes out, but
I think they got some money back.
There's only 5 teams higher, and you're getting in rarefied air at 272. LA ran away from everyone. They're at 400 million. From there, you're within arm's reach of the Mets and the Yankees. I mean, the Mets and the Yankees are in the low threes. You're at 272. The only team that has actually run away from the Padres in payroll is the LA Dodgers. I mean, they're within arm's reach of everyone right now. And I agree with you on the point about John Seidler, because that's not happening in Cincinnati. It's not happening in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 21st in payroll right now. They've got one of the best teams in the sport. So credit where credit's due. I hope it continues into the future under this ownership group, because you don't have to be number one in payroll to win, but you got to be towards the top. You got to give yourself a chance. Yeah. Top 10, you give yourself a chance. And the Padres right now are firmly in the top 10 in payroll.
And I don't need John Seidler talking to the media every 2 seconds. But, if you're not going to talk to the media, then we're going to take your actions and translate them to how you feel about this team. And actions speak louder than words.
Sure.
And his actions, this trade deadline, his first trade deadline, showed, look, we want to win. And yes, is there a good opportunity here to trade off some pieces we have and maybe make another move and stay below the 261 number and, maneuver some things around? Yeah. But you know what he said? He said, AJ, go out, do what you do, make this team the best you can. And there's nothing you can do but applaud John Seidler in this moment.
I completely agree, because I almost thought at one point it was almost a guarantee or a formality that they would trade someone from their major league roster, and we almost became numb to it. I think the fan base believed it was necessary and it would make them a better team. I thought that was propaganda. Now, the organization wasn't selling it, but I thought the belief that you're better without Jay Cronenworth, you're better without Dylan Cease, you're better without Robert Suarez, I thought that was baloney the second I heard it. And I preached it for weeks on end, and I'm glad that the ownership group and AJ Preller agreed.
And that was the question I had on Wednesday of why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do they have to do that? Why? There has to be a reason why it keeps on being reported that they're looking to trade these pieces. Do they have to do it?
Right.
And apparently they didn't have to.
Now, again, it sounds like the Astros,
they tried.
It sounds like they were talking. I mean, it sounds like the offer was significant, and maybe the Padres would have done it under a different circumstance. But honestly, I think they're better off. I really do. I think they're better off with keeping the status quo, and I think they're better positioned to win in the here and now because of it.
I hope that trade turns out to be the best trade that AJ never made.
Not trading Dylan Cease.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean,
I hope
at least
fingers crossed
the upside of Cease exists. There's a world out there where Cease helps you in a big way from now until the end of the year. We'll see if he can do it or not.
Yeah.
All right, 3:00 hour on the other side. Alan Sleewa joins us at 3:30. Kyle Glazer used to be with Baseball America. He's at 4:30. Kevin Acey at 5. Plus, when Mike Schilt speaks with the media this afternoon, you'll hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Hour 2 of John and Jim coming up next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Allstate. The new look Padres start a 3-game series against the Cardinals tonight. 6:40 first pitch at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Pods. And NFL news of the day: Micah Parsons, he has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after contract disputes with him and Jerry Jones. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Previously on John and Jim.
We kind of feel what's possible right now with this team moving forward and the schedule they have coming up as well.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The Padres don't win 5 games in a row leading up to the deadline. Do they still do exactly what they did today? Like, say
I think so.
Say they actually kind of trip a little bit here. Go 2-3.
My guess is yes. That's a really good question. I wish that was asked.
Last 5 days impact you at all? How you operated today?
That's a great question.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. And this hour, Alan Slewa, friend of the show, lifelong Padres fan, does a great job covering sports in Southern California. He will join us at 3:30. And then next hour, Kyle Glazer back on the show. Can't wait to get his perspective on what A.J. Preller did, because Glazer's so dialed in with the Padres system, with their major league club. So Kyle Glazer at 4:30. And then Kevin Acee, who's done obviously tons of reporting in the days and weeks leading up to the trade deadline. I'm curious to get his perspective as well on the Padres at the deadline at 5 p.m. Mike Schilt, Jim, is going to speak. We can only imagine what he's going to say. Shoot, A.J. Preller spoke yesterday for nearly 40 minutes.
Wow, look at this lineup.
Wow,
look at these guys.
Iglesias second. I can't wait to hear Mike Schilt, and we will share that conversation with you guys coming up once Mike Schilt speaks later on this afternoon.
Looks like the new Padre players are speaking to the media as we speak.
Okay.
Mason Miller, he according to Darnay Tripp, very tall, very big.
Very tall. Mason Miller is?
Yeah.
Is that a quote? Hi, I'm Mason Miller. I'm tall.
No, he said Mason Miller deceptively tall.
Okay, interesting. Is that why they traded Leo DeVries? Like, wow,
like,
he's
wow,
tall.
look at this guy.
You know what? Just move him.
Ryan O'Hearn spoke to the media, says that he told Schulte he'll do whatever he asks of him. DH, pinch hit, off the bench, left field, first base, he'll do whatever.
He's not going to hold out.
No, he's not.
His first order of business, I'm coming off the bench.
Well, that's the great thing about after the trade deadline, because there are teams, and we saw it as late as 2023.
Okay.
Like, it was really hard to get everybody to pull on the same rope for that team.
Yeah, 2023, definitely.
It was so hard to get everybody to buy in, to be on the same page, and to all work towards the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
So going into this, last year's trade deadline, same thing. The team all rallied around each other. They all had one goal. They were all, I'll do whatever is best for the team. And that's kind of the MO of Schulte's clubs, is they do everything they possibly can for the team. There's no I's in there. It's all, there's no me's. It's a team vibe. And that's, I think, what you love to see if you're a fan.
Dude, this is me sitting on my couch on a Saturday afternoon and getting a call from a buddy that he's got like front row tickets for something you didn't even imagine was possible for you to do that day. That's what Ryan O'Hearn is thinking. You're on the last place Orioles. Are you kidding me? You got a lifeline to San Diego? Mason Miller, you're on
Mason Miller.
I would curse if I was on the wrap-up show, truthfully. You're on this ridiculously poorly run organization that actually has a baseball ops team that knows what they're doing.
Right.
To kind of point it in the right direction. But you're in this ridiculous situation where your clubhouse is beyond the center field wall, where the temperature is 120 every day.
Okay.
And you just ended up in 72 in sunny San Diego in front of 45,000 people every night with the chance to win a World Series. This is the golden ticket.
In one of the most beautiful ballparks in America.
Willy Wonka, all these guys. Fermin, like, great. I'm sure it's been fun to be with Salvador Perez. All these guys now have an opportunity that didn't exist 24 hours ago or more, 36 hours ago. So it's an amazing opportunity. Now, do they take advantage of it? And I go back to what we've been saying now well before we knew the moves, that there is not one team in the National League with more than 64 wins. And San Diego has 60. I look at the American League. there is not one team with more than 64 wins. You know what that means? The Padres are 4 games or less away from the best record in Major League Baseball. There is no 75-win team. There is no historic team this year. And even if there was, they could still be beaten, as we know, in the postseason. But think about that. National League, American League, not one team has more than 4 more wins than the San Diego Padres. So it's there is the point. It is there for the taking. That should be super exciting for the clubhouse. It's absolutely exciting for the fan base. And like you said, that's going to be felt inside Petco Park, I think, tonight.
Going to the text line, 70470. Start your message with team. If you want to text the show, 619 number says it's going to be lit at Petco Park tonight. Cannot wait. Another 619 number says, I am excited about the new lineup, but the way Jim kept butchering the names, I thought the Padres traded for Freddie Freeman.
It did kind of sound yesterday like you were saying that. That's why we have to say Fermin.
Yeah.
Because you say like Freddie Freeman, you're like, wait, what?
I can't look at it and read that. I can say it. I can say Fermin, but if you put it in front of me and you told me to read it, I would butcher it 3 out of every 10 times.
No, it's going to take a little while to get a feel for the new team. I'm going to be like, oh, that's Ramon Laureano. Oh, that's Ryan O'Hearn. Oh, I'm excited about this.
Well, that's Mason Miller. That's JP
I mean, you're going to know
Sears.
Mason Miller when you see him, but it's like, I'm excited to see how the team takes its new life. Like, what does it look like when it's going well? How much more capable is this lineup? If we recall, it's hard to believe because we criticized the lineup all year. The lineup has actually performed. Remember, folks, before this 48-hour hiatus, Padres had scored 7 or more runs, I think, in 6 of their last 13 games, something like that. They had really been scoring, and that was without Laureano. That was without O'Hearn. That was without their new catcher. And then pitching-wise, man, it's carried the day, dude. It's hard to get a lot better. The concerns have been the health of the rotation. Obviously, that's where Michael King comes into the conversation. But, I mean, we kind of forget the offense was starting to look like an offense, and now maybe we'll actually see them look a little bit like they looked last year in the second half. They were a very good offense last year. I'd like to see that happen in the second half again this year.
And we've talked about this all year long, like especially more so last couple of weeks and last month. This team was one of the bottom teams in the National League as far as run scores go. And I kind of figured it out. Again, my math is awful, but to get to where they were last year at the end of the season with runs scored, they would need to average about almost 5.5 runs per game in the second half.
No, you said 64 runs per game. I'm kidding.
I said 5.5, John.
Is that what it is? Or you're
That's
saying
what it
recently
was.
that's what it was?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And right now, looking at those numbers, they finally have passed the Giants in
Let's
run
go.
scores on the season.
So they're now 4th fewest run scored in the National League. Is that correct?
That is correct. They're on the tails of the Marlins, the Braves, and the Nationals. And I feel like they could pass those teams.
Okay.
And then you might look up at the end of the year and they might be middle to top of the pack as far as runs scored if they continue to play well and if they continue to score, not like they have the last 5 games where they've averaged like damn near 8 runs a game, it feels like.
Right.
But if you score like 4.9 runs per game the rest of the way, 4.8, 4.7, I think that right there, that's a good offense.
Here's the sneaky thing. You're right. Let's say the end of the year comes and you're like, well, they were 10th in the National League, 9th in the National League in runs scored. I would tell you, here's how I'll spin it. I'll be like, well, yeah, but look at what they've done since this point. And then maybe more specifically post deadline, like, yeah, maybe they're 9th in the National League in total runs scored, whatever. But if you told me August 1st on, they're 4th or 5th, I'd be like, wow, they have a capable offense with elite pitching. And if you have something like that, and again, I continue to harp on this point, you don't have to have the best offense. Their team is built around Petco Park. There's good speed, there's good defense, there's good pitching. As the offense continues to come into form, you got everything you need. And we've seen what happens at Petco Park. The Padres win. Their record at home is really good. They're winning something like 2 out of every 3 games with the way they previously looked. They keep that pace. Again, it's why, to me, it's so important to get a lot of games at home if you can in the postseason. Great crowds, great performances. They have not been the same team on the road. That could flip. They might get better, but they're under 500 as a team on the road. They're significantly over 500 as a team at home. It's not rocket science for me, but I think they're built for Petco Park. Like, you don't have to have the number 3 offense. You better have the number 3 pitching staff. And I think they've maybe accumulated that.
Like, can they get back to what they were at the start of the season.
That was great.
First 38 games of the year, they're 25-13.
Wow.
And their runs per game was 4.66, which was 12th in baseball.
Wow. Schulte,
Wow.
Yeah.
And they also had the best average in baseball, the 5th best on base percentage in baseball, the 9th best slugging percentage in baseball, and the 8th best OPS in baseball.
Yeah, I remember when their average was tops in the league. Yep, I remember that.
And then they just completely fell off a cliff for the next 2 months.
Right.
But can they get back to that? You're not asking them to be the best offensive baseball for the entire season.
Top 12 is nice.
But can you be a top 12, 11, 10 offense in baseball for the next 2 months? Because if they are, and their bullpen still pitches the way they're pitching, whoa.
They could take off.
Watch out.
The developing story is it's official where Michael King will make his rehab start. It will be on Sunday. It will be for the Chihuahuas, who are playing on the road, in fact, in Round Rock, Texas. So the Chihuahuas will be playing on the road in Round Rock, and Michael King will make a rehab start this Sunday. So 2 days from now. And then what happens afterwards? How does he feel? Does he make another rehab start, or is he back in the major league? So that's very encouraging. Here's the other thing. Mason Miller has spoken with the media, and we will hear from him coming up actually in the next handful of minutes. So King progressing, Miller in the clubhouse, and Mike Schilt at some point here sooner rather than later will speak with the media.
Can't wait to hear Schulte.
I know. It's the highlight of the day, I think. Unless one of these new players is like incredible. I can't wait. Like if one of these players is great and saying like, every time you get a new player, I always expect PC. Great to be here. Yeah, just happy to play any role I can.
Well,
Well,
the thing about most of these players, except for Ryan O'Hearn, they're going to be here for a minute.
They'll be here for a minute, yeah.
Mason Miller is under team control until 2029.
Get the jersey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the type of guy you could get the jersey and feel.
And I'm sure a lot of people already have the jersey. You want to know why?
Because they already have the jersey because
a former Padre player recently wore this number. A very famous, good Padres player recently wore this number in San Diego.
Who would that be?
That would be Juan Soto.
Oh, interesting. But it wouldn't say Miller on the back.
No, but the number's 22.
The number, yeah. I'm terrible with numbers. I don't know Manny Machado's number, 13. But I'm not good. I don't know Tatis's number, 23.
Ironically, I'm really good with numbers in that sense. When it comes to like addition, subtraction, and multiplication.
Here, ask me. What's Michael for? Say, John, for $1 million, what is Michael King's number?
For $1 million, what is Michael King's number?
Is it 22?
Oh no, I just said 22 is Juan Soto.
Oh yeah, see, that's terrible.
No.
But if I was right, see, I wouldn't have even won $1 million. What's Michael King's number?
What's Michael King's number? Actually, I'm forgetting it right now.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
It's
34.
Yeah, it's 34.
But hear me out. As someone that calls games, the one sport you don't need to know numbers is baseball. Nothing happens. They come to the plate. Not like, let me look at their, you don't need to know numbers. It's not like overly relevant like it is in football. A guy catches a pass. He's wearing number 87. Nobody catches passes.
Or even basketball to where it's like foul on number 5.
Yeah, it's just to me, for whatever reason, it's never been overly
What's
relevant.
Robert Suarez's number?
109. I have no idea. What is it? 99.
75.
75?
I know.
So random. I won't remember that in 2 seconds. All right, we're going to hear from Mason Miller on the other side. Then on the show at 3:30, friend of the show, Alan Slewa, lifelong Padres fan, his thoughts on the trade deadline. He'll join us in 15 minutes. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Alan Sliwa, friend of the show, coming up, will join us. Let's hear from Mason Miller and react. Some of the new Padres making their way into the clubhouse at this hour. Mason Miller speaking with the media. Let's hear what he had to say. The newest Padre coming over from the A's.
Surprise. Okay, thank you.
What's it like being in San Diego?
Been here all of 2 hours, but I'm loving every second of it.
How would you describe the last 24 hours for you?
Chaotic for sure, but now that we're here, boots on the ground, set to get outside, play catch, and feel like a ball player. Yeah, I kind of came out of nowhere. I kind of expected to move in some ways, but getting to end up here, not far from where we were, it's real nice.
How did it go down for you? You didn't come into the game the night before when you guys had the lead. What were you told? How did you find out about everything?
Yeah, so I found out in the 8th inning I wasn't available to pitch on, what was it, Wednesday? And then kind of had a meeting, said nothing was done yet, but next morning got the call and found out I was coming down here.
What does it mean to come to this team that's playoff contention? And I don't know how much you know about Petco Park, full every night with fans. What are you looking forward to?
All of it, yeah. I mean, just that extra gush behind your back, all the fans in the stands, playing meaningful baseball every night, being a part of the winning culture. I'm really excited.
Considering the Padres have 3 relievers to the All-Star next season, are they anywhere on your list that this could be a destination?
No, I mean, frankly, it's a perfect way to put it, But I'm happy to be here and hope to make that an even bigger strength.
Have you been to conversation yet?
Not yet, no.
Does it matter to you?
No, whatever I can do to help the team win, I'm ready to do.
You had a meeting with Crawler before the draft. Do you remember that? Was that here?
No, I don't remember where exactly it was, somewhere in the Carolinas. I threw to a couple hitters. I spoke to him afterwards. But yeah, it kind of weird. He remembers it. He brought it up. I certainly remember it as well.
He said he messed that up. Interviewed it?
Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily, but I think he would have been happy to take me for sure.
What do you think about joining a team that's got some playoff experience and clearly is trying to go for it again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be a sponge to these guys and, the abilities they have and, the experience they have. I really look forward to learning from them and playing alongside them.
You have pitched here before.
I have, yeah. Not very long. Only 2 batters, but yeah.
That experience at least would have given you a sense of the atmosphere, an afternoon game, obviously excitement of a walk-off. What you learned just about kind of the fan base, the setting, and all that through that experience.
Passionate, man. Yeah, it's the only way to put it, and I'm really looking forward to playing for him.
Color said that he and assistant Josh Stein, they got rejected a few times. They had to keep at it to get you. Does that mean anything to you, that just the fact that they really pushed to get you?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you get traded, there's always a feeling of, this team really wants me. This team's willing to give things up to get me. So, I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm really proud of the work I've done to, have people around the league notice that and be willing to give things up to have me on their team.
You still have many years remaining until you're a free agent, so this can be a place where you really dig in some roots. Is that something that entices you?
It's exciting, yes. Wherever you are, your loyalty is with the guys you're sharing a locker room with. But yeah, to be able to be here for 4.5 years, hopefully I'm able to be here for the entirety of that and, have a lot of success.
There's been some talk about in those 4.5 years potentially starting. Is that something you'd be open to in the future?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be conversations had. But like I said, we haven't had them yet.
Might be kind of a dumb question, but how does one learn how to throw the ball really, really fast?
I mean, fortunately for me, I don't try to do it. I just try to focus on my mechanics, focus on being smooth, efficient, and the ball just jumps out of my hand. So,
is there something that unlocked it for you at all?
I mean, my diabetic diagnosis was the major driver, getting healthy and putting on weight and just kind of incrementally increasing the velo each year.
How amped are you to be here in this moment? I don't mean talking to us like this, but just in this clubhouse and this team.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm anxious to get outside and, throw a ball and feel like a ball player and be a part of this team.
Is it kind of surreal just going from, I imagine, difficult playing in Sacramento, AAA ballpark, and really having a real home to all of this?
Yeah, it's flipped it on its head for sure. Going from there to a stadium that's full every night is a major switch, but I'm really excited to have that opportunity.
Okay. He's
business, man.
He's definitely all business like with that interview right there. But hey, look, I don't need him to have like the most flamboyant personality or the most energetic personality, but as long as you go out there and throw 104 miles per hour and get outs and strike guys out, Love it.
This was, like I said, I mean, you end up at a clubhouse like 2 hours after you get traded somewhere.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, hey guys, let me show you my magic act. I brought my rabbit. You're not going to be like the most
Want to see my card collection?
personable, unique interview probably in that setting. You could feel / sense some of the nerves, plus the like, it's time to get to business. I went from, I mean, kind of the analogy maybe Marty used it, like you kind of went from AAA to the big leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, you really did. You were playing at a AAA park for a team that has not been in the postseason in forever, that is routinely well under 500 in the Athletics, to a team that's routinely over 500 and vying for playoff spots and trying to win in October. It's a different experience. But again, this is what you dream of, especially if you're an 8th or 9th inning guy. Like when you're on the Athletics and you're an 8th and 9th inning guy and you're 48 and 63, you're sitting on you're not even pitching more than half the time because you don't have leads. But he is going to be used because this team wins more often than loses. He's going to be used a ton in the second half of the year. And it's got to be a different feeling for a guy who goes from a losing team to a winning team. He's just so much more is now on the line for him.
Do 8th inning guys, assuming he's assumes the role of the 8th inning, do those guys get like entrance songs and
songs?
Well, not songs, but what Robert Suarez gets, like the flamethrower.
I've never seen it.
Fire.
That would be unique. I think that'd be a first to turn the lights off in the 8th inning. I've never seen it, but not to say it can't be done. I don't think it's like illegal, but I think that would be new to baseball.
Because I feel like his walkout, production and everything would be pretty electric at Petco Park.
Oh, absolutely. And I do think he's getting 9th innings. Maybe not from day one.
No, I don't think tonight, if they're up 3-2 in the 9th inning,
it's his inning.
I think, though, if it is a close game tonight, I think he's going to be put out there.
I agree, because they also sat him the day before the deadline. They held him out because of the trade. So he hasn't pitched in a couple of days.
He's only thrown 38 in the 3rd innings this year.
Yeah, it's not very many.
Easily the fewest amount of innings pitched of anybody in the back end of this rotation or the bullpen with the 4 horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
So also, you don't want to be traded somewhere and then just like immediately not play for a couple days.
No, you got to get him out there.
You got to get out there just because you want to get the nerves just taken away. You want to, being at home too, you just want to go out there and pitch. He even said it there. He's like, I just want to go out and throw.
Yep.
And you could tell by listening to him that he's all business.
He is.
We got to get him a new walkout music though, because he comes out to Nickelback.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I don't mind Nickelback.
Most people do though.
Yeah.
They're kind of lean.
That might not be though at Petco Park. That's what I was going to do. Lifelong fan, great sports talk over the years as well. In Southern California, Alex Lee will friend the show. It's like John Team City Sports 60 Live in the hour.
All right, this update is brought to you by Allstate. The new look Padres start a 3-game series against the Cardinals tonight at 6:40. First pitch at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound tonight for the Padres. And NFL news of the day: Micah Parsons. He is requesting a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after a contract dispute with he and Jerry Jones. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
All right, let's get Alan Sliwa in here, friend of the show, lifelong Padres fan, San Diegan, great YouTube channel as well. Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa back with us on John and Jim. We're talking a lot of Padres today. We will with Alan. We also have Kyle Glazer, used to be with Baseball America. He'll join us at 4:30. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. So, Alan, you're watching this play out. You've seen how A.J. Preller operates in the past. But even by A.J. Preller's standards, were you surprised by the sheer volume of trades and the upgrades he was able to make? And thanks for hopping on.
Of course. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was wild. Yesterday was wild. A lot of my time watching your guys' reaction on YouTube, but it was it's crazy. I don't really have anything to compare it to. I know that, obviously the Juan Soto trade, that was as big of a shock as you could think of. But I think if, you're a San Diegan and you're a Padre and you're looking at the way the Padres kind of closed out before we got to today, obviously to take on the Cardinals, but just the 5-game winning streak, the sweeping the Mets, 11 games over 500, still in contention for the division. So I think to see what happened yesterday, clearly, I remember and listening to A.J. Preller, I think it was maybe about a month ago or so, he said something to the effect of, the team will dictate whether the front office goes out and makes moves or they don't. And I think the team obviously did their part. And A.J. Preller said, sounds good. F them picks and the farm system. We'll go ahead and just trade for everybody.
What trade, I guess, excited you the most yesterday?
It's funny. I think, Jim, it's tough to kind of have one stand out because they had specific needs that were all very important. I did think you need to upgrade in the catcher. I did think you need to upgrade in left field, and then it allows you to put probably most likely Sheets as a DH. I didn't know that they're going to go add another bullpen guy, but in the playoffs, I mean, if you really think about it, you can never have too many arms, and you're going to put yourself in a situation. You'll play 2 games in a row in the postseason, then you're going to have a day off, and you might have all 5 of those guys that are ready to go after that. So I think that just the sheer balance of what they needed. I don't think if they just got a catcher yesterday, I don't think we'd be sitting here and telling ourselves, all right, that's it. They're the favorites to come out of the NL. Even after everything they did yesterday, I don't think anybody's going to say they're the favorites, but I think you're going to say that they got a legitimate shot. I think it was more, we have X amount of holes to fill. Let's fill all of them. I thought Preller's quote from yesterday was great as well when he said, if you're going to win a championship, you can't have any weak links. Isn't that kind of what the purpose of yesterday was? So I don't think they're the favorite. I think it's just the mere fact that he decided these are the areas clearly over X amount of games we need some help in. Let's go address it.
It's well said. Alan Sliwa with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So to further that conversation, you're right. I mean, it's hard to refer to them today as a favorite, although they are among a group of maybe contenders in the National League. You've covered sports in Southern California for a long time. Do you even entertain the conversation about the division right now? Is that a conversation for right now? 3 games back in the NL West. Is that for another day?
No, I think if you'd have told me 2 weeks ago, and really my theme the entire season watching Padres baseball, it's like, stop worrying about the division. Don't worry about, the Dodgers. Don't worry. No, just get in the playoffs. And then anything can happen once you're in. But I think based off what they did yesterday, the fact that they are playing good baseball, the fact that the Dodgers also haven't ran away with it. 3 games is 3 games. That's what it is. And you're still going to get a chance to play them X amount of times. Maybe that works in the Padres' favor. Maybe it doesn't, just based off of the head-to-head matchup they've had so far this year. But I think the division is in play. And I think you should, if you're the San Diego. There's obviously unbelievable advantage to getting to the postseason as a division winner than in the wild card. We obviously all know that, but I think that they have a good enough roster now, and I think the Dodgers have dealt with some of their own issues as well. Granted, they'll be ready for the stretch run as well. I think it's definitely in play, especially that you got some head-to-head matchups coming up, especially because there's some opponents that you have, especially here, over the course of, you want to call it the next couple of weeks, where some of these teams became sellers. I think it's in play. So I don't think that's crazy to say, and I think the Padres should 100%, and they will. They will approach this as, yes, we'll play every single game, but the division's not like they're 7-8 games back.
Yeah, and they play them 2 more times here in August. So they got 6 opportunities against the Dodgers here coming up this month. Where did you stand, Alan, on trade Cease or keep Cease? They obviously kept him, but where was your thought process as a fan, like with Dylan Cease and this trade deadline?
I don't know if I have a justification for it. I really don't think I do. But every time I see Cease is on the mound, I'm like, oh yeah, we got a good shot at it. I don't even know. Like, I sell myself on this. Yeah, Cease has got a great chance of striking out 10 guys and having it pitching a gem. He also, obviously, that hasn't been the theme this year. I wanted to keep him, and I'd rather have Dylan Cease than not have him. Going into the final 30 minutes or so of the deadline, there was still chatter out there. Astros were aggressive. Are they going to keep Suarez? Even though that kind of seemed like as it went on, they were going to keep him. I was really happy that they kept both. I was really happy that this was not addition by subtraction. This was basically, we're going to add to what we have, and if we got a legitimate chance of competing, that's probably the only route they were able to take. So I'm a fan of keeping Cease, whether that's a lot of people feel that way or not. I'd rather have him than not have him.
Alan Slewa with us right now on John and Jim. So now that it's all put together and they've won 5 consecutive games, for you, is it a little bit of a deja vu all over again scenario with last year, knowing how they finished and they had as good of a shot as anyone? They didn't take advantage, obviously, specifically in the last 2 games against the Dodgers. But do you feel as if they're capable of going on the type of run, at least in the regular season, that put them in a position to be one of the better teams in baseball? Can they do that this year as well?
I think I almost want to just kind of take whatever they accomplished last year and just, I hope the team, and there's a lot of players that obviously were part of that roster last year. I hope they can just learn from it, because I know that we want to associate anytime. It's very easy to want to associate what's happened in the past to what today is. But honestly, today is different. There's also a lot of different players that are in the lineup. I think that they got a real chance to finish off the second half of the season strong and kind of bump their chests out a little bit. And then hopefully there's also a little bit of, they walked into the playoffs feeling really, really good about themselves. I mean, obviously when Musgrove went down, that was a gut punch for everybody. Eventually went up 2-1 in the divisional round. It just kind of shows that it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how great that you played. Game to game in baseball, anything can change. Momentum can change. And I think for the Padres, hopefully that humbled them a little bit as well. They can learn from some of their mistakes. I say just wipe away whatever the heck happened last year, other than just learning of just getting more experience, or sometimes a gut punch helps you down the road. I kind of hope they just take it that way, because we've seen plenty of teams phenomenal in the regular season and just collapse in the postseason, barely get in the postseason to end up in the World Series. So it's really tough to judge, to be honest with you.
Would you like to see Robert Suarez continue to be the closer of this team, or do you think Mike Shildt should maybe test Mason Miller out in the 9th inning here over the next 2 months and just, see how it goes?
I think it's Suarez's position. Yeah. Like I do think he's earned it. And I know there are times where he might go 4 or 5 games where it feels great, and then he'll have a stretch where a lot of people are uncomfortable. And frankly, if I'm going to be honest with you, there are definitely times, and if it was in the postseason and the score is 3-2 in the 9th inning, I'd be a little nervous. But you have the regular season to kind of continue to, I guess you can say, make some adjustments, fix, learn whatever you need to learn. But I think Suarez has earned the closing spot. I'd like to see him still continue to have the closing spot. And here's the great position Shilt's in. If it ain't him, there is literally 2-3 other potential pitchers that can come in out of the bullpen for the Padres that can close out a game. It's a great problem to have, but I'd like to see Suarez have it until he basically convinces Schilt that he shouldn't have it, and hopefully he doesn't convince him of that.
You cover the Lakers. What do you think of Skinny Luka?
Skinny Luka, honestly, I'm a little shocked about how great he looks. I've said this when I do my show. I don't want to give an athlete too much credit for being in shape when you're making a couple $100 million. Like, that's kind of your job, right? I don't want to. That should be given. But he does look great, and if we want to make some excuses for him in the past, we can make some excuses. However he looked, he always delivered in each of his 7 years in the NBA. I think the question now is going to be has he put himself in a position where he's better than we've ever seen him, that he's not just in an MVP conversation, but he's there with Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's like, hey, this is a toss-up. We can go to any of these guys. He looks phenomenal, and that's how it should be. And you go look at some of the other greats out there. There are not too many you were questioning about whether they were in shape or not.
Love your perspective, Alan. We really appreciate you taking time for us. We will do it again later on this summer, but appreciate you doing it. We'll do it again soon, all right?
Thanks, man.
That sounds good.
All right, great stuff. Alan Sliwa, again, Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa on YouTube, and just a diehard Padres fan as well.
He was so pumped up that he just started texting us like, guys, I watched all today. I'm excited. I just needed to text you.
He, like most Padres fans, are excited based on what's played out here over the last 24 hours. All right, we're going to hear from another newcomer. We heard from Mason Miller in the clubhouse. What about a Baltimore Oriole heading west? Ryan O'Hearn could make his Padres debut later tonight. He is on the bench tonight. He has spoken with the media. We'll hear from a newcomer, Ryan O'Hearn, coming up next. Kyle Glazer at 4:30, our Padres insider Kevin Acee at 5. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right. So we have a source. His name's Darnay.
Way to ruin our source.
Well, it's okay. I'm not going to say anything that he wouldn't.
It's Darnay T.
It's Darnay T. The reason I'm not going to say it, I'm just going to tell you that we have this bet about how long Mike Schultz spoke, and he's inferring that it was a lengthy conversation. So we don't know the true length, but he's inferring that it was a lengthy conversation.
I might be right on this.
Yeah, you said 12 plus minutes. I'm with you now. Now that Darnay has said that, it might be 20 minutes. True. I mean, there's days when they're on the road, he speaks for 2 minutes. There's other days at home, it's 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes. But I mean, 20 minutes would basically be unprecedented, I think, before a game for Mike Schultz. So I'm excited to hear it.
And that's why I feel it's going to be shorter.
Yeah.
Because whenever we think he's going to talk a lot, it's like you said, he'll talk 2 minutes. And we think he's just going to come on and be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a great series. He'll sit there and flap his lips about, weighty or something.
Well, not anymore.
We're going to hear from him.
That might be
coming
the
up
big length of it.
in the 4:00 hour. All right, let's hear from Ryan O'Hearn, one of the newest Padres. You heard from Mason Miller, acquired from the Athletics. Ryan O'Hearn coming over from Baltimore with the media this afternoon.
Really good team. A lot of amazingly talented players on this team, veterans. The team, especially after yesterday, is absolutely loaded. But yeah, very excited to come here. Help out and fill in wherever I can.
What do you think you'll bring to this team? What do you hope to add?
I'm going to play hard every day. I like to put the ball in play. I don't like to strike out. I like to get after it, hustle. I'm just going to show up and play hard every day and be myself and do whatever I can to help the team win.
How much does it help to have Ramon come with you to have someone that you know walking with you?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, there's I have some familiarity with some guys on this team. Bryce Johnson, Jason Adam. I played with Freddie Fermin, and then obviously Ramon coming over too. It definitely helps to have some familiar faces. But you just meet everybody you can and soak it in and just take it one day at a time.
Probably raved about Freddie Fermin's makeup. What can you tell us from that standpoint?
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I got to see, firsthand Freddie when he was 18 years old in the Royals organization and just how hard he worked. Him following Salvi around, turning it into little mini Salvi, which is pretty cool to see, him a little bit more grown up and doing what he's doing. And obviously really good player, hard worker, great makeup, like you said. So excited to play with him again.
This is a team that's got some playoff experience and is clearly going for it again. What does it mean to join a group like that?
It's exciting. I think ultimately that's what every player plays for, a chance to win a ring. And, coming across the country to a team like this and in a division race like this is exciting. And, like I said, one day at a time, but, I think the sky's the limit for this team. And I'm excited to see, where I fit in.
When did you get here?
How did you follow the final day of the trade deadline? Were you surprised that it was the Padres of all the teams that may have interest?
I mean, I didn't know. I heard rumors about a bunch of teams, but at some point you kind of, zone out off of that. And I don't want to live in the hypotheticals. I want to just kind of wait and see, where I was going to be. So when I heard, San Diego, obviously very excited with how good the team is and, get to come here and play in a beautiful ballpark in front of, 45,000 people every night or whatever it may be. So very excited to hear when it was San Diego.
You mentioned the ballpark and the crowds. This is a building that's sold out 46 times in 52 games this season. It's Friday night. You're going to get to wear that very colorful City Connect jersey. Yeah. What's your level of anticipation to play in this kind of environment?
It's high for sure. I got to play here as a visiting player only once before in 23, and I think it was a midweek even, and it was sold out or close to it every night. So very excited to play in this kind of atmosphere. Obviously with a team this talented and the potential to do great things in the postseason, it's really cool to see the fans show up and rally behind the group. And like I said, I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Have you been told what your role is going to be?
Yes and no. I had a conversation with Mike, and he was going to be, open and honest with me. And I pretty much told him, hey, use me however you want to use me, whether that be first base, outfield, DH, pinch hits, whatever you need. That's kind of always been my motto. That's kind of how I go about it. I'm a team guy. I want to help the team win, in whatever facet that may be.
When you're acclimating both on and off the field,
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to navigate that a little bit. I flew this morning bright and early from Baltimore, and got to the hotel, dropped my stuff off, came straight over here, and here I am talking to you guys. So it's been a whirlwind, but I couldn't be more excited to be here and doing all this. So yeah.
How tough was it in Baltimore, the expectations you guys had to not do what you guys wanted to do after what you guys did last year?
Yeah, it was tough for sure. That's a group and a team and a city that's close to my heart, and spent a few really amazing years there. And I got nothing but love for all those people in that building. And obviously, there were some high expectations in spring training, and we didn't live up to those. Started off early, dug ourselves in a hole, couldn't really get out of it. And that's baseball. Sometimes that's how it goes, whether it be injuries or whatever it may be. But it's tough. But it's the nature of the game. It's unpredictable, and just got to put one foot in front of the other to keep going.
You excited for your second spring training? I mean, you've got a bunch of you guys to go ahead and meet this clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best. Luckily it's, there's less guys here than there would be in spring training. And, you kind of know everybody's name already going into it. So that makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm going to do my best and learn everybody as fast as I can and, get acclimated.
I love me some Ryan O'Hearn.
You like Ryan O'Hearn?
No, I said I love me some.
You
Ryan
love Ryan O'Hearn.
I
Wow,
love me some Ryan O'Hearn.
What was it that won you over in 3 minutes?
All of it.
Okay, I like it. Not just
the whole package.
Everything that surrounds Ryan.
The
O'Hearn.
whole package.
Okay.
I Ryan O'Hearn, All-Star this year. I think this is the exact type of player this team needs, along with Ramon Laureano, and hopefully it turns out to be the perfect fit with those two guys coming over, because on paper it sure as hell looks like a perfect fit, right?
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, necessary upgrades, and I like what he said about I'm willing to DH or play first or play the outfield or pinch hit. Like what you need me to do is what I'm going to do. Or the same thing basically for Mason Miller. I don't need to pitch 9th innings. If they want to talk to me about starting in the future, I'm willing to do it. They want to win. You go from a loser to a winner. Your primary focus should be winning, not how many ABs am I going to get, or am I going to have the same power numbers that I had in Baltimore. None of that stuff matters in the short term for me. It's about winning as a team, and he sounds like a guy that wants to be on a winning team, and he's been on winning teams. Baltimore last year was a very good team. All right, we will get to the wrap coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Also joining us at 4:30, Kyle Glazer, Friar Territory podcast, with his thoughts on the Padres trade deadline upgrades. And then at 5 p.m., our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, is on the show. We will hear from Mike Schilt this afternoon as well, after his lengthy conversation with the media this afternoon. But we'll kick off hour 3 of John and Jim on the other side. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and a reminder about Jamul 23, endless dining every day. Savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at the all-new Jamul 23. From their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to their VIP endless dining experience each evening, indulge in chef-curated specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
Guess what, John?
What's that?
The hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort is now open. The next level of luxury has finally arrived. Treat yourself to a stunning new stay, rooftop relaxation, spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
Also, join them every Thursday for Thursday drawings, guaranteed $30,000 in cash prizes. Next one coming up Thursday, August 7th from 7 p.m. until midnight at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This update is brought to you by Allstate. The new look Padres start a 3-game series tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals. 6:40 first pitch at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day, Micah Parsons. He has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after a contract dispute with the Cowboys this past offseason. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Previously on John and Jim.
You kind of feel what's possible right now with this team moving forward and the schedule they have coming up as well.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The Padres don't win 5 games in a row leading up to the deadline. Do they still do exactly what they did today? Like say they actually kind of trip a little bit here. Go 2-3.
My guess is yes. That's a really good question. I wish that was asked.
Last 5 days impact you at all?
Yeah.
Operated today?
That's a great question.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. We do have Kyle Glazer, used to be with Baseball America, has a great podcast now, Friar Territory, covering the Padres. He'll join us at 4:30, and then our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, will join us at 5 p.m. We also are giving away tickets to see Blues Traveler Saturday, August 16th, 2 weeks from tomorrow at Gallagher Square, which is, of course, at Petco Park. So Blues Traveler tickets, Kyle Glazer, Kevin Acee. We're going to hear from Manny Machado, by the way. He has spoken with the media. We'll hear from Manny in about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm trying to see if we have Mike Schilt's entire pregame as of yet or not. I do not have it as of yet from the Padres. It's probably the biggest file in Padres history. If he spoke for 6 hours, how are they going to get it to us?
Maybe he's still speaking.
Right. It's so long that they can't send it to us because it's just like, what's it called when you do this in Congress where you just don't stop speaking?
Filibuster, yeah.
First of all, hold on.
What? Because Jim knew something?
How did I?
Who are you? Is that really Jim?
How did I know this?
Are you wearing a costume? Someone else?
Surprise! I can do math now.
You just said filibuster before Brent said filibuster?
Yes.
Whoa.
Your mind is blown, huh?
That is honestly, I'm not kidding.
The most intelligent thing I've ever said.
That was shocking.
Shocking.
Yes. Like that's beyond anything Preller did yesterday, including DeVries, for me.
Look,
I am more surprised by you knowing filibuster than him trading Leo DeVries. And it's not close, and I'm being honest.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you as well.
It just
I don't know how I did that.
That's what it felt like. You just said it.
It was just like a out of body experience, like filibuster. Like I knew exactly what you were talking about.
The large file.
Please.
The large file.
Click on it and see how long is it. How long is it? Oh my goodness.
Hold on.
I need to see how long is the Schulte presser?
Winner.
No!
10 minutes and 40 seconds.
Hey, but we were close, right?
Do you want me to send it to Brent? Do you want to play it now? We almost have to, as opposed to the rap.
Yeah, send it to Brent.
I'll send it to Brent. But we were close. We both said 10 to 12 minutes.
10 minutes?
Very long.
So I won.
Yeah, because you said it would be less than 12. You did. You said under 11. You're right.
I was close.
10 minutes and 40 seconds of glorious Mike Schilt filibustering. I'm more surprised by you knowing that than anything.
I don't know how I pulled that out of my
amazing.
ass. I have no idea what I did there.
Incredible.
Again, out of body experience that just happened right there with something that I don't say much in my life. I don't think I've said filibuster maybe ever.
I don't ever hear you say that.
I don't think I've ever said that.
Wow. Brent's going to get this.
You were
this
shocked.
I am shocked.
It was like, everybody stop what they're doing. What did Jim just say?
What were we even talking? I don't know what I was saying. Oh, Mike Schilt. Like, how long did it? Like, we thought he might have spoken for
like
forever.
Just keep speaking?
Right. Like a filibuster.
Yes.
Brent's going to tell us where this starts. We'll hear from Manny within the hour, actually in about 15 minutes. We've got Kyle Glazer. We have Kevin Acee. And how does this start, Brent?
His thoughts on yesterday.
Oh, that makes sense. Mike Schilt with the media.
And that's about tonight's starter?
In the dugout on yesterday's trade deadline.
I mean, yeah, listen, AJ does what he does, and he's able to do it with what really is an elite scouting department. You know, internationally, amateur scouting is really unbelievable. You know, our pro scouting department is also really good, but Chris Kemp and his group, who runs our amateur and international scouting, do a phenomenal job of acquiring talent. And, you know, that allows AJ to be flexible and be able to move the chessboard in a lot of different ways. And so, They deserve a lot of credit, as does our player development group. All the different guys that are in the affiliates, including the Dominican, do a tremendous job, developing our players, creating value. And so kudos to player development scouting to allow what happened yesterday to take place. And, we're grateful for AJ for trusting our club and having a lot of different moving parts. And, he does a great job with that. So we're excited.
Speaking of moving parts, now it falls to you to organize those parts along with your staff. Let's start with Mason Miller and how you feel like you're going to incorporate him into the fold and what his role might be and how it affects your pen.
Well, yeah, I mean, we get smarter, we get better, with another really elite, piece in Mason Miller, another guy that's locked down, the ninth inning. And, the way we view it, we talked to Mason, we talked to Robert, and, listen, we're not going to be out of school with what we're going to do. We'll show you what we're going to do. But the good news, including, two other All-Stars in Jason Adam and Maury Hone and, Estrada as well. And, it's a good bullpen. And, of course, you got Yuki and Wandy and Morgan that's been throwing the ball extremely well also. But the point I'm getting at is all those 5 guys have been in up guys. 4 of them have had all-star experiences. And so, most recently we had, Estrada in the 5th inning, and we had Morhone in the 4th, a couple weeks ago. And then the next day pitched the 9th. So that's the one thing that I think people do understand about bullpens, but bullpens are fluid in the sense of, today we're coming off a day off. Mason's fresh. We have everybody available. We'll use them and deploy them like we have all year. And I think we've been pretty judicious with that, of putting them in good spots for them to succeed. And we'll continue to do that. And when certain days take place and other guys aren't available, then they'll get in different roles. So hopefully that was clear enough for you.
We've seen this game develop to the point where swing and miss in bullpens are vitally important if you're going to make a deep postseason run. Everyone across baseball is now, I think you said, adding to your strength. How do you see this influencing your ability to be ultra competitive when it matters most?
I think we've already displayed that. I mentioned, Estrada was in the 5th the other day, Morhone was in the 4th one day, and it's really about availability. And, the starters have a say in it too. So we don't, so we have starters for a reason. So we have the starters that need to be able to do their part, to be able to pitch, into a certain quarter of the game, was 5th, 6th, or even 7th. You got 7 the other day. It was vital because we just got through, especially when you win a lot, use a lot of different guys. We were able to expand the lead 2 days ago, not pitch Adam and Suarez, but we were down a couple guys, and you got 7, and we were able to plug those 2 guys in. So again, I'll say this a lot when we talk about bullpens, it's just a very fluid situation. And when I think I've demonstrated, and we've demonstrated, that when we have the ability to go grab it, we grab it.
How do you feel like you're going to use O'Hearn and Sheets, and have you spoken to them about their particular roles?
I've spoken to them, very similar to the bullpen. Listen, it's hard for me to get, and I do, everybody would like a concrete answer, and I think I do a reasonable job of creating what the roles are, but then that game happens and it breaks out, and there's a lot of different scenarios that take place. And I talked to Gavin yesterday, I talked to O'Hearn a couple times, and they're both very gifted players that both left-handed, played in similar spots, but they can be used in a lot of different ways, whether it's pinch hitting or go play the left field, or both their cases, O'Hearn would go play first base, pinch hit, DH. So it'll be fluid depending on what the game tells us.
Fermin and Diaz now as your catching tandem. How do you anticipate the playing breakdown going?
Very similar. Diaz is going to catch because he's caught Pavetta, and that's been a good matchup. We're going to miss Maldi. Maldi was a big part of our club, and we'll see what happens about him clearing waivers and see what that looks like moving forward, because he's really an asset for our team on and off the field. But we got Fermin for a reason to play. He'll catch Vasquez tomorrow, and he'll be in there and he'll catch, and you'll see him quite a bit.
You move Kolick and Bergert. You bring back Sears and Nestor Cortez. I think is coming tomorrow, if I'm right.
Yes,
how do you see the rotation shaking out, especially hoping and knowing that Michael King isn't far off?
Yeah, it's a opportunity for those guys to get a chance in the rotation. We've got the rotation set for this series. That's what I'm concentrating on most right now, is this series and today, quite frankly. And we'll talk to those guys, and they'll plug in appropriately relative to what the team needs. And I think the wrap-up point because I do understand this individual conversation about the bullpen or the catching and the starters, and those are great. But ultimately, it's about what this team needs, and that's what this group is all in for. Is what this team needs to go compete. And not everybody's going to get what they want, but everybody, which they do, has the right kind of attitude about it, and just goes compete when the situation calls for it. When you have a deep, talented team. That's going to be the most important part of this.
Lastly, for me on Laureano, his addition gives you, I would imagine, a little different look in left field. Where do you assess and how regular do you anticipate him being out in the outfield in some capacity for?
Similar to what I just got through saying, it's he's going to be out there tonight. He's clearly a good player. He's had a great year. He's a veteran player. He's got a lot of different skill sets. He's had good success against righties this year. So he's going to start tonight, and we're going to go from there.
You obviously felt good about this team, like you said on Wednesday, to have AJ kind of show confidence and belief in what you guys are able to do with what he did yesterday. What does that do for you as a manager and just your outlook going forward?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm extremely pleased with what we've been able to do up to this point with the group that we've had to this point. And my job is to manage the resources that I and our staff get and work and partner with our players to go compete. And I feel like very confidently we were able to do that very well. And set us up for a position to take it to the next level. And we added to the club clearly and excited about that and rounded it out in some areas that felt appropriate. And now we do it together and go compete and look forward to competing tonight because tonight's the most important game of the year.
How did it feel to keep Cease and Suarez in?
Yeah, it felt great. Listen, those guys have helped us a ton. Robert's been a two-time All-Star and closed games for us, and I think that needs to be remembered. He's pitched very well and competed very well, and Cease has helped us get to the playoffs last year and is clearly a talent.
Manny says there's nothing that AJ can do anymore that will shock him at the deadline. Is there anything that would shock you?
No, ma'am. No. It'd shock me if he didn't do so. That's what would shock me.
You mentioned Michael King. Is El Paso tomorrow? When does he start?
Looks like El Paso on Sunday. Yes,
How formidable do you think it'll be for the opposing team, given what is waiting for them late in the innings? Sort of similar to what we saw early in the season with you guys. Like, if you had a lead in the seventh, it was typically a lot.
When you said earlier in the season, how about all season?
All season. More so even now, just adding an arm like Miller and just how much tougher it's going to be for teams in those second half of the game.
That's correct, yes. I don't know how to tell you about what other teams feel. I just know it feels good about what we can bring in and feels great.
Like, what do you think? What's the message that was sent to every single player, every person in that clubhouse when Toronto makes the moves that you guys do yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, this club's all in. Our team's all in before today, and our team's all in even more after the trade deadline. This is a group that's very consistent with how they operate and how we think and how we perform and compete and prepare. And it just nothing was going to change. Just now we just got more pieces of the puzzle.
Mike, what are the specifics of incorporating 6 or 7 new guys in the clubhouse in the middle of the season? How do you go about that?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question because the biggest thing is not necessarily the baseball. It's the baseball is it's specific to. And I'm going to need to get going. I've got a job to do after this, but making sure everybody understands how we just operate within the baseball. But it's more about like the families and, just getting integrated with just getting comfortable in our environment and our players welcome these guys. And, but yeah, it's more than just the baseball. It's what's new, new city, new everything, manager, pitching coach, hitting coach, clubhouse guys, teammates. And just, so I think the most important part is making sure that the families and players feel like the transition is as smooth as possible and just everybody feels communicated with, like to Palm's question. I mean, yeah, roles are going to change a little bit for certain guys and communicating with the players that we currently have and the players that we have brought in about what that looks like. And the biggest takeaway is making sure everybody's fluid to being able to coexist and do what's best for the Padres.
I have one more. It's crucial. Crucial. What happens to the 4 horsemen?
We added to our stable. Our stable had more than 4 horses in it, and so now we just keep adding to the stable.
I can't. I just can't. That was kind of like, to tell me if I'm wrong, because we just knew it was a long conversation. We didn't know what transpired.
And we got
It was a little awkward.
We got a heads up too about maybe.
I didn't know it was going to be. I felt a little bit of
tension.
Yeah, maybe tension's probably the right word. It was a little not heated, but tense.
Wasn't
Not
yeah,
it was
little-
tense. The conversation.
Yes, he was controlling that scrum. Like, hey, I'll put a bow on these questions you're asking me. Hey, I gotta go because I gotta go to work.
Yeah, that was amazing. He's never done that
because he was asked repeatedly about guys'
Usage,
roles.
yeah, exactly.
And they're not going to tell us what their roles are. They're just going to go out and do them.
Barely have spoken to these players. I mean, you don't want to speak to the media about players' roles longer than you spoke to the player. And they just
Right.
met the players within the last 90 minutes.
Yeah, what you want to hear from Schultz is, well, what do you think of Ramon Liriano?
Yeah, it's great. He
What do you
helps
think
us
of
here,
Mason
yeah.
Miller?
Yeah.
Guy throws 104. How exciting is that to have that guy in your bullpen?
All right, let's hear from Manny Machado on the other side. Then Kyle Glazier coming up from Friar Territory at 4:30. Kevin Acey at 5. It's John and Jim. All right, we're going to be joined by Kyle Glazer coming up in about 10 minutes. And then Kevin AC at 5 p.m. I think Brent is grabbing, not literally Manny Machado, but maybe Manny Machado speaking with the media, that audio. Be amazing if Brent grabs Manny Machado.
All of a sudden, Manny just walks in the studio.
Altercation.
Like, hey, guys.
Hey, I heard
Aren't you supposed
said.
to be at Petco Park right now?
Hey, aren't you the guy that was ultra critical of me in like 2022 and like said be better?
And then I was and you're the ultra critical guy of me in 2023 and 2021 and 2019.
Yeah, you're that guy, right? No, that's not me. That's him.
No, that's the other guy.
All right, let's get to this now because we do have Kyle Glazer coming up in a handful of minutes. So, again, this is Manny Machado. We'll have it for you momentarily in the clubhouse. His thoughts on, again, an off day. Believe it or not, the team was off, right? they had nothing to do with this. Manny Machado was off. I don't know where this exactly starts, but here's Manny Machado with the media.
Nobody likes a cracked.
No, that was
nice of Manny.
That was
nobody likes. It sounds a little different.
So different, that Manny Machado.
Yeah,
that was good. All right, here's Manny.
Trades are going down yesterday. What's your reaction in real time?
Pretty cool. I mean, welcome to San Diego Padres deadline. I mean, it's never seems to impress. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, we got guys that going to be a big impact on our ball club, and guys that we needed that were going to fit in perfect. So I think it was a pretty successful day for the Padres organization.
What kind of message does this on the team when you guys have the players that you have and you add that type of talent?
I mean, listen, we knew what we had as a team. Obviously, getting these guys are I mean, definitely a upgrade, definitely a hub. And it sends a message that we're ready to win. We're ready to win, and we're going to go for it. And we got the ball club here that's able to do it and compete. So now it's up to us to go out there and do it. They're putting the faith on us, and I think we have a pretty good group of guys in here that can do that.
You already had the best deepest bullpen in baseball. How shocked were you specifically by the Mason Miller acquisition?
I'm never shocked about anything we do at the deadline. Let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, adding another closer for multiple years, one of the best in the game. We last year we did the same thing almost. We had one of the best bullpens, and this year I think we're topping that. So again, it's up to us now to go out there and finish it off and play our best baseball.
Two names that were getting floated out were Suarez and Cease. For you guys to make all the moves that you guys did and to keep both of those guys, what does that mean?
I mean, Cease and Suarez, I mean, they're a big part of our team. We have the best closer in the game. One of the best pitchers in the game as well. So why trade them away? Obviously, there's always talks and there's always conversations that are being made, but our best teams with those two guys on in the roster. So, I'm looking forward to see continue to be the best version of himself and continue throwing the ball like he's been throwing. We know we got his back, and we know he's better than what he's performed, and I think he knows that as well. And but I think he's one of the best pitchers in the game, and you can never underestimate that. And I know he's going to go out there and ball out. So to have him here with our roster, with our pitcher staff coming back, being healthy, keeping him was huge.
I'm not talking about the whole individually of 2022 and this one, but was this a crazier trade deadline just because of the multiple?
I think they're all crazy. I think every trade deadline is crazy. You can't compare them one to the other. I think they're all pretty hectic. I mean, it's always crazy days. So, yeah, man. But we knew the group that we have in here. And adding some key pieces that we needed, definitely helps our chances.
What do you think it'll be like for opposing teams, knowing late in the games that those arms are great?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be, I don't like it when we're facing some good bullpens. I know it's going to be tough to not want to face these guys, but hopefully we can get them the lead early and give them some rest and not wear them out a little bit too much. But yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to see these guys pitch, see these guys play. We got Liriano and O'Haron too as well. Adding them to our lineup that just makes us a lot deeper. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Manning, with these additions, what are the expectations for this team in the postseason?
Try to go win it all. I think that's been our goal. Hopefully, we know we got to go through the Dodgers and meet up with them and go through them. So hopefully go out there and compete for that division and ultimately, try to bring a championship to the city, which is our main goal.
I said the D word, division. Said the C word, championship.
Did he also say the other D word, the Dodgers?
He did. Kyle Glaser, formerly Baseball America, joins us next on John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Buttrell real estate team. The New Look Padres start a 3-game series tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta will be on the mound tonight for the Padres. And NFL news of the day, Micah Parsons, he has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after contract disputes between him and Jerry Jones this offseason. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell as the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, excited to get the perspective of Kyle Glaser back with us, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. has covered Major and Minor League Baseball for a long time and now doing it with the Friar Territory podcast and back with us again on 760. So, Kyle, we appreciate it. I guess I'll start with what impressed you the most about AJ, what he was able to do in totality, because he was up against at least not, he didn't want to add a ton of payroll, clearly based on these moves. So what impressed you about the manner in which he went about his business and upgrading this team?
Yeah, I think the fact that the Padres were able to address every aspect of the team and upgrade it despite having limited payroll to work with and also, frankly, limited prospect resources. This was not the Padres farm systems of old. There were a few guys who were very, very interesting to clubs. A lot of other guys, they really had to cobble together some different combinations to make it work. But at the end of the day, you look up and the Padres made moves that improved their lineup, improved their starting rotation, improve their bullpen, and improve their bench. It really was a very, very impressive and aggressive display from AJ Preller and the Padres front office.
We talked to you a lot, Kyle, about the Padres farm system and especially Leo DeVries. When that trade went down at I think 8 a.m. yesterday morning, what was your first initial reaction to seeing that move in the morning?
My initial reaction was there better be more coming because when I saw that package of Leo DeVries and 3 power arms, my initial thought was that kind of package, as amazing as Mason Miller is, and don't get me wrong, he is a monster and a stud, but given the Padres' needs, that caliber of package, I really felt like needed to be used to go get an impact bat. At the same time, you know that AJ Preller is never, ever, ever done after one trade. So I wanted to reserve judgment until we saw what the entire day looked like. And to his credit, he was able to get the kind of offensive upgrades the Padres needed in Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano while not needing to use that package to go get it, which would have been an overpay for those two. They were able to go get a player of Mason Miller's caliber. So kudos to him for trading that package and then still having enough left over, being creative enough to still go get the other players the Padres needed.
It's just an unbelievable day that played out nationally, but certainly locally in San Diego with all the moves. Kyle Glaser, Friar Territory podcast, back with us on John and Jim. More on Mason Miller. Is it realistic, Kyle, in your experience and estimation, to make Miller a starter at some point, not in 2025, but could he be converted to a starter? What are the challenges that are there when you take a hard thrower, high leverage, max effort guy and try to stretch him out to 75, 90, 100 pitches?
It would be very, very tricky simply because he has a lot of injuries in his history. And let's not forget, the A's tried to make him a starter. It did not work. He was a starter when he first came up, and they realized that was just not the best way to utilize him. He has been very, very injury prone going back to his college days. Given how hard he throws realistically, unless there's some sort of medical breakthrough that magically solves everything that's afflicted him, it's hard to see him holding up over 150, 160, 170 innings, simply because not only has he never done it, he's never really come close to doing it. Realistically, the best version of Mason Miller and the one you're going to have on your team, healthy and ready to go for a full season, is with him closing out games, or at the bare minimum, pitching in 8th innings now, as long as Robert Suarez is with the club.
What's the one trade that AJ made yesterday that you think will impact and help this team the most?
It was the trade with the Orioles. And again, Mason Miller is certainly a superstar. I thought that the acquisition of Nestor Cortez was kind of a nice potential sleeper trade if Cortez comes back healthy and can pitch like he's capable of. But look, this Padres pitching staff going into the day yesterday was top 5 in the majors in ERA, WHIP, and opponent's average. This was an elite pitching staff without any of these additions. They were also 23rd in runs scored. They had to get bats, and bats were going to be ultimately what made this a successful trade deadline or not. If the Padres made every other trade except the Orioles trade, it would have been a horrible deadline because they needed impact bats more than anything else. So the Orioles trade, going and getting not just Ramon Laureano, who frankly should have been a Padre a month ago, but also getting a hitter of Ryan O'Hearn's caliber, that was the most important trade. And ultimately, that's the trade that will make the biggest impact on the Padres moving forward.
You heard AJ Preller say yesterday that championship caliber teams don't have weak links. And I think back to last year, he had a very well put together club that ultimately fell at the hands of the Dodgers in 5 games. We don't need to relive it. But do you look at the 2025 Padres as a comparable team in terms of depth and overall, I don't know, talent or lacking weak links to 2024? How do you compare the two teams, 2024 at the end to 2025 right now?
I'll say this, the 2025 team is a lot closer to being like that 2024 team. I think the fact that 2024 team had a healthy and effective Joe Musgrove down the stretch is something that's a little bit of a separator from what the 2025 team will have, even though Musgrove missed time in the middle of the season. I will say that it was good to hear him say that because that is not something AJ Preller has practiced very much in his career. It's been a lot of top-heavy rosters where they focus on the stars and don't pay enough attention to the depth. So I think that's important that they've learned that lesson and they were aggressive in addressing it. Again, is it exactly the same caliber as the 2024 team? I think the fact that Dylan Cease isn't pitching as well and you don't have Joe Musgrove, I'd say it's probably not quite up to that level, but it certainly is a lot closer than it was going into deadline day.
Who would Kyle Glazer have closing this for this team? Mason Miller or still remain with Robert Suarez?
Yeah, I had this discussion with Heath Bell yesterday. I would still go with Robert Suarez for the simple fact that Suarez doesn't walk as many batters, and we all know you can't have walks in the ninth inning. Suarez is walking 2.4 batters per nine. Miller's up to 4.2. So I think just from, that standpoint, also Suarez has a lower ERA. So as much as Miller's stuff is insane and watching him is incredible, this is still a young pitcher who has some things to work out. He's not, 100. It's not like it's a guy with a sub-2 ERA and he's not walking batters. There's still times he's a little bit wild. So I think from that reliability standpoint, you go with the guy who, again, has the lower ERA and the significantly lower walk rate. And, oh, by the way, also throws 102. It's not like Suarez is a thumber up there.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Kyle Glazer, Friar Territory, with us right now on John and Jim. We've had this conversation so many times in recent years. The Dodgers and the Padres, the division race, their postseason chances. They've played each other 3 times in the postseason. As we sit here today, Padres 3 games out in the NL West. How do you see the division, and do the Padres have a realistic shot over these final 50-something games?
Look, when you're 3 games out, you are in striking distance. I think the fact the Dodgers, again, they didn't do a whole lot at the trade deadline, but they're going to get a lot of players back from injury that are better than any trade additions they could have made. Blake Snell is going to make his return this weekend. Max Muncy's rehabbing. He'll be back in August. Michael Kopech will be back in August. Roki Sasaki might be back in August. So they're about to load up in a different way. I'll say this. The Padres' chances of catching the Dodgers significantly increased with the moves they made yesterday. But at the end of the day, it's on them to go out and prove it on the field, not just on paper. But again, the front office did everything they could to close the gap, and now it's just on the players to go out and execute and make it happen.
Do you think it's like a World Series or bust type of, remainder of the year here? I mean, Preller's not under contract after next season. We got to still wait to see how that thing shapes out. And he made all these moves and you kind of mortgaging the future again with the trades that he made yesterday. But do you feel that way? Like, hey, this kind of feels like World Series or bust here.
I don't, simply because I'm a firm believer that if you make it to the Final Four of anything, whether it's the Final Four of the NCAA tournament, conference championship games, and football, basketball, hockey, the championship series and baseball, at that point, everyone is loaded and any team can win. If the Padres say beat the Dodgers in the NLCS and push a really good Phillies team to if they beat the Dodgers in the NLDS and push a really good Phillies team to 7 games in the NLCS and just come up a tick short, I wouldn't call that a failure whatsoever. I think that they do need to get to at least a CS. And of course you want to reach a World Series and win a World Series. But again, if they, get to a CS and fall just short to a really good team, I would not consider the season a failure.
Which one of these bats that has been in their core all year is most important here down the stretch? When you think about the Tatises and the Merrills and the Machados, Bogarts, Arise, who is the one to carry the day for the Padres offense moving forward?
Yeah, look, the guys who are going to carry the day are Tatis and Machado. At the end of the day, those are your 2 most talented hitters. And when they're right, 2 of the 10 to 15 best position players in all of baseball, those are the guys who are going to carry the team. I will say this, if Xander Bogaerts can maintain his production, it changes the entire dynamic of the Padres lineup to one where, once you would get into that 5-6 spot, things start to get really, really weak. If Bogaerts can continue hitting the way he has, now you add in a Ryan O'Hearn and a Ramon Laureano, it completely changes that dynamic where the Padres now had one of the shallowest offenses in baseball to one of the deepest. And Xander Bogaerts continuing to hit is going to be central to that.
Kyle, we always appreciate perspective. Few people know the Padres and their organization better than you. So thanks for taking time for us here on 760. We'll do it in the second half of the year.
My pleasure. Anytime, guys.
Great stuff from Kyle Glazer. Really good. Friar Territory podcast.
And that's how you have to look at it. Because in the morning, the Leo DeVries trade happens and you're like, there better be more than this. And there was. And there was a lot more. And then when you look at the finished painting, as Kyle said, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. Kevin Acey at 5 p.m. His thoughts on the deadline. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. We're here until 6, getting you ready for Padres baseball. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Kevin Acee is going to join us at 5 p.m. His reaction to A.J. Preller's wild July 31st with the 2025 trade deadline having it passed. So Kevin Acee in about 13 minutes. We didn't get to the wrap earlier, so let's do that right here.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
How dumb are the Cowboys if they trade Micah Parsons?
Pretty dumb. How do you not give one of the best defensive players in the game
Just
a
make
contract?
It's just make him the highest paid player. It's really not hard.
Well, it's also not a good look when Jerry Jones refers to Micah Parsons as Michael Parsons.
Yeah, I mean,
during a press conference, he called him Michael.
And also the issue now has become it's not money. It's now become like he said, she said, where Micah feels like he's been lied to because he thinks that in a conversation with Jerry Jones, he was assured of something, and that's not how it's played out. So some of it I do think is just posture, like I'm out, and then you're going to get paid. But another part of me is like once you've burned a bridge, Jerry and his son with Micah, I wonder if he's being serious because that money always matters. But ultimately, he's going to get the money, but like, have they burned that relationship that he actually does want out of Dallas?
Here's how these things work. All right, it sounds ugly at the beginning, like this guy wants a trade, he wants out,
and
big
then they
news.
just pay him. Yeah,
and then they pay him.
I know, but it does feel like a line might have been crossed. I agree with you. The same thing happened with CeeDee Lamb. The same thing.
You're not trading away a talent like Michael Parsons. You're not.
Yeah, it would be stupid.
I was going to say, allegedly, he flew to Abu Dhabi this summer offseason to meet with Jerry because he thought they're going to talk about his contract, and Jerry just wanted to talk about leadership. That was one of the things that Parsons put in a tweet today that he's like, I'm not going to stay silent about it anymore. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
He'll stay. They'll pay him.
Yes, it happens all the time. This is what happens in contract disputes. They don't get a contract, the player requests a trade, and then they figure out a contract.
It's July, now August, but it's not October. Next question.
Are you guys excited for tomorrow's Reds-Braves game at Bristol Motor Speedway?
I mean, it looks cool. I'll pay attention to it. But am I like, hey, honey, did you hear the Braves and Reds are playing at the Bristol Motor Speedway tomorrow? And she's like, no way. Are you serious?
Okay.
We have to watch the game.
Here, you want to really impress me where I would like leave the show and we can call it the Jim Russell Show for the rest of the time and you'll never see me again. Tell me what state Bristol is in.
Connecticut.
No. That was so easy you would say that.
You just undid your filibuster from an hour ago.
Everything. Bristol Motor Speedway is in Bristol, Tennessee. The Braves and the Reds are not playing in ESPN's headquarters tomorrow in Bristol, Connecticut. They will play at the Bristol Motor Speedway, I think in front of the largest crowd in baseball history.
Yes. I hate
that I set you up for that.
That you set me up and you knew I was going to take the bait.
I knew it. I mean, it was so
like
obvious. There was no scenario where I thought you were going to say Tennessee. Zero.
Like, I applaud you for that setup.
It was so easy.
But I hate myself.
It was so easy.
Because I took
you
the
were
bait.
so excited to get that right.
The only reason I thought he might get it is MLB's been doing like pregame and stuff from there all afternoon. They had the Tennessee Vols head baseball coach on.
I didn't see that.
Obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't have guessed Connecticut.
This will be the most attended Major League Baseball game ever. It is at the Speedway. It looks interesting. Yeah, I'll throw it on with you. I'm not like stopping everything that I'm doing, but I'm intrigued.
What intrigues you more, a game like this, or if they just did the Field of Dreams thing every year?
I've seen the Field of Dreams, so I like this. I like taking like something that hasn't been done and doing it. I've always been a fan of that.
I do like me some Field of Dreams game, though.
That's been good. That's been good on TV. I like when they play the games overseas, even though I'm kind of anti that. But once I see it, I like it.
Where's the Field of Dreams game played at?
Field of Dreams, probably in Iowa. Next question.
Are you guys surprised that Milian Ilasky signed with the Philadelphia Union? Did I say it right?
That was pretty good. That was
effort,
good.
Yes.
Milan Ilasky.
Milan Ilasky. I am surprised because I thought he was going to go back and play in Europe for his team,
right?
His club, and then all of a sudden, the best team in all of MLS picks him up.
Right. Philadelphia has the most points right now.
Yes, in the
MLS.
entire league.
Yeah.
That kind of bums me out, not going to lie.
Kind of weird.
Because now you're looking, I mean, what if the scenario happens that Philadelphia and San Diego meet in the MLS Cup and Milan Ilasky's on, Philadelphia after he did what he did here for San Diego FC.
Yeah, and he's a San Diegan. And that's weird, and I'm with you. I don't know the backstory or the circumstance, but you add a player of his caliber. The goal scoring has been ridiculous to the team that leads both conferences in points. They have 50 points. San Diego FC has 46. I mean, it seems just from afar like that was a significant loss for SDFC. Now, they've certainly stayed afloat, and we'll see what they look like over the final 8 or 9 matches. But, yeah, it looks like a pretty significant pickup, you would think, for the Philadelphia Union.
If Jim's scenario played out, that would be total sports movie stuff, to where, we have the guy that used to be on our team that was really good, but then we had to get rid of him, and now he's on the rivals, and we have to play them for the championship game. And
it would have a good storyline.
Yeah, if you're a Philadelphia Union fan.
No, it's a good storyline. SDFC could still win.
Yeah, but I don't want to see that.
Right.
Only if SDFC wins.
Yeah, I'll see it if it's the MLS. Got it.
Yeah, of course. No one's not going to take that.
Like, they're playing Philadelphia. I'm not watching.
Oh, man.
All right, next question.
Which new Padre will be the most important for the rest of the season?
Well, you have a million to choose from. I'm gonna go with a bat.
Okay.
Just because that's been a need of this team for a while now. Their bullpen hasn't had problems. It's not like, oh, man, they just need one more bullpen piece and everything's great. I feel like if they didn't add to the bullpen, they still would be great back there. I'll take Ryan O'Hearn. My boy, Ryan O'Hearn.
Let's take Ryan O'Hearn.
Even though he's not in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, I'll take Ramon Laureano. And I think both are going to be impactful. Ramon Laureano is an 884 OPS. Tops on the Padres, as we sit here today. Better than Manny Machado. So I'm going to go with the guy that's got the 3-WAR, power right-handed bat, 15 home runs, a big number. I mean,
O'Hearn's got 16.
I know. Those are big numbers. O'Hearn has 16. Are you sure? I think it's wrong. I think it's 13. Let me see.
O'Hearn's got 13.
But they've combined for 28, which is, on this team, that's a lot of home runs.
I wanted to speak 16 into existence.
Maybe tonight, 3 off the bench. That'd be a record. No player in baseball history has hit 3 home runs off the bench.
Comes in like the 4th inning.
That's my guess. Nobody's hit 3 home runs off the bench. It would be impressive.
They're going to bat around 3 times.
Yeah, it would be impressive to do it. What about Will Wagner in AAA? What impact could he make?
Glad you asked that, John.
He's a depth piece. Who else did they add? I don't even remember everyone they added anymore. Fermin, O'Hearn, Laureano, Miller, Wagner. Who am I missing?
Nestor Cortez.
Right, Nestor Cortez.
Sears.
That's 7 that could see the major league team.
Yeah.
I would guess.
They added 7 players yesterday.
That could see, but Cortez and Wagner we're not going to see immediately. So 5 players to the big league roster. That's a big overhaul. It really is. Huge overhaul. All right, Kevin AC will join us as he reacts to everything that played out. I mean, he was reporting on it for days and weeks on end, and ultimately the Padres accomplished their goals, and they do it without really adding that much salary. We'll get into that with Kevin AC. How are the Padres, how is AJ Preller able to do this, yet hold on to Dylan Cease and or Robert Suarez and basically the rest of the Major League roster as well. So Kevin AC will join us to kick off our final hour of John and Jim. In addition to that, we do have a giveaway for you. We'll do it in the 5 o'clock hour, a pair of tickets to see Blues Traveler with Gin Blossoms. This is going to be Gallagher Square, Petco Park, Saturday, August 16th. Tickets and information at Ticketmaster.com. But we have our Padres Insider for you on the other side. Padres and Cardinals playing game 1 of a 3-game weekend series at Petco Park at 6:40. Kevin AC, our Padres Insider, joins us next. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. The new look Padres start a 3-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals tonight at Petco Park, 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day, Micah Parsons, he has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after contract disputes with him and Jerry Jones this offseason. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, final hour. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, Padres Cardinals, second time in about a week. They'll meet to open a series coming up at 6:40. And great to reconnect with Kevin Acee, our Padres insider from the UT, who's been so busy. He always is this time of year, reporting and writing. So, Kevin, we appreciate it. Excited to get your insight. Now that we're past the deadline, how did the Padres manage to do this, add to their major league roster in the manner in which they did, without trading away, without any salary relief provided from their major league team? How did they pull that off?
I think that all along they knew that if they were able to get the deals done that could make them better, where it changed the calculus, it increased the odds that they were going to go deeper in the playoffs. Look, another game, because I forget exactly what the formula is, but you have to share all your revenue evenly with the players and the other teams. But then if you get to like game 3 of the wild card, the team gets more. If you get to game 4 and 5 of the NLDS, the home team gets more. You get to game 5, 6, 7 of the NLCS and on, right? Like the Padres can make back this $4 million or whatever pretty easily. And it was always vague. Do they have 1 million, 3 million? What is it that they have to spend here? And turns out it's whatever, between 4 and 5 net, I think. Kudos to them. That's why I always include an asterisk, guys. I have no idea what AJ Preller is going to do. And anybody who wants to talk about the trade deadline more than a day before AJ Preller gets to work, I think it's just silly.
How close were they to dealing Dylan Cease in the final half hours before the trade deadline hit yesterday?
I don't know exactly. But I don't. I mean, but it was going to have to always be. Now, obviously, I was wrong on Robert Suarez, but I just felt based on some conversations that they were going to keep Dylan Cease, and it was going to take a lot. Obviously, we're going to line up on the Astros. At that point, I'm like, oh, they're back on with the Astros. You start to see other people talk about it, John Heyman and such. You're like, okay, wait, after all they've done, are they trying to replenish they're going to take a prospect? There's just not anything the Astros can give them right now. And so I don't know how close they were, but I can't say never. I just felt like if there's a guy they're going to keep, it's him. Now, by that time, they've got Nestor Cortez and they've got JP Sears. I don't think those guys are anywhere near what Dylan Cease can be. But, at that point, I'm like, well, maybe they're just going to try and get like one of the Astros top 5 prospects or something. I don't know. They didn't. And I got to imagine they're better for it. I mean, if you think they're better because they got Cortez, they're better by having Cease.
And just to clear this up here, sounds like it was the Astros calling the Padres about Cease instead of the other way around, right?
That I can say for sure that it was the Astros, and by that point it was other teams calling, and evidently the Astros the most. And by the way, when I say, and I'm sure we'll get to the bullpen, but when I say they're better off to have Cease, I mean I don't know what the starting pitchers for the Padres have to go anymore. 5 innings.
Maybe 4.
I mean, someone said, I didn't do the math on it, Kevin.
3.
Someone said yesterday that the average start last year in the postseason was 4 innings. And if that is the case, and that makes sense to me, then yeah, you're covering more outs with your bullpen than you are with your rotation. I mean, think about that. 12 outs maybe with your rotation, 15 with your bullpen. So I get doubling down. But the other point I would make there, as we talk about the bullpen now with you, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, is that, yeah, they've got these 5 high leverage guys, maybe even more than that. The way I see it is you're providing some of these high leverage pieces with some of the rest that will be necessary to have them pitching at their best in October. That's what I feel like this move represents to me. You want to make sure they're healthy when you can utilize all 5 of them potentially in October. I don't know if you need to do that August 1st or not.
It's a huge part of it. I really believe, and it's the first thing you hear from them is about the usage in the postseason. But without a doubt, and they've been very fortunate to give it really everybody. Maybe Estrada has kept up his workload, and Morahone to some extent, but they've been very fortunate to and worked really hard to do it. But there were some times it was unavoidable. They just had to use these guys. But clearly they were trying to throttle back, and now you would assume that this will allow even more. I mean, the possibilities are endless. In a tie game in the 5th, bases loaded, and Mason Miller's coming in. Like, I mean, because that's the one you want to get that out, or you have a 2-run lead, and you're like, screw it. I know Morahone's done this, but let's just send Mason Miller out there to throw 103.
Yeah, what I really want to see is a Randy Vasquez start where he goes one time through the lineup, and then you just go to your bullpen. That's a possibility, right? I mean, I don't know how many times that Schulte will do it.
They're rested.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the postseason, I'd already started to think about that. Okay, what if they're unable to make the certain moves? Like, Randy Vasquez is going to have to start in the postseason, and what are they going to try and do? Do they try and game 1 so everybody's rested and they could just get Randy through there one time? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Now, I know we'll get to the part where we have caution. I'm a skeptic, and that's why I'm excited that it's August 1st. I want to see how these guys do. They didn't go out and get Babe Ruth and Mariano Rivera. They got some really good. I think that was about as good a trade deadline as you could have, in my opinion. But we got to see these guys play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it also is on the shoulders of the guys that are still here to continue to play like they've been playing.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
Just real back to Mason Miller real quick here. The long-term future of Mason Miller, do you envision that they're going to attempt to make him a starter? Or, with the future of Robert Suarez probably gone after this season, is he going to remain a closer in your opinion?
All they're talking about is closer.
Okay.
So they're pretty wild. Who knows? But, the guy throws awful hard. He was moved to be a closer for a reason. Always be concerned. He goes out to one pitch. I'm always concerned about throwing that hard. Every day, that, and I haven't been able to talk about it enough. Is it about that? Confidence is going to be durable.
Kevin AC, our Padres insider, with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, Kevin. How does a day like yesterday, where AJ Preller is able to make the quantity and caliber or quality of trades that he made, what does that mean for his future? It seems like he was firmly in control of the organization. One of the more, massive days probably in baseball history for any team in terms of comings and goings. Would that then lead you down a path that, AJ Preller is not just here in the short term? Yes, his contract status is through 2026, but doesn't it feel like he's firmly in control of the front office based on the way yesterday played out?
I don't think that's necessarily true. And I'm not saying that it's not true or that you're not on a path that is like more true than not, but I just don't think so. I mean, this is great. This is a wonderful high. What if it fails?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what if they get to the wild card round or get to the division round and they're coming home from Dodger Stadium again? And then, next year, Leo DeVries wins Rookie of the Year for the A's, or what about that? This was phenomenal what they did. Phenomenal. It couldn't have been better, in my opinion. But we can't project out like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we have no idea what's going to happen here. Kevin, when you look at the guys that they got as far as Sears and Cortez, are those guys going to be put in the rotation, or where do the Padres see these two players as of right now?
I'm not 100% clear on this. They have some time. Cortez, when's he going to come back? Is it next week? When's King going to come back? Is it next week? I mean, this guy's pushing to skip El Paso. Like we said, it's a very interesting thing he's coming back from. As long as he can throw, I think he needs 2 rehab starts. Don't know. So we've got some time here. I think that Sears is going to do a bullpen here and be a starter. But long term, when you've suddenly got all these off days in August and September in particular, and then you get into the postseason and you've got 6 starters. I mean, does Randy go down and get a rest because he's never had this workload before? I think that's probably a pretty good option. That still leaves you with 5. And so what happens after that? It would be really interesting.
I think we had this conversation about King, but I'm trying to remember where we went with it. So he'll make the rehab Sunday. I'm using Nestor Cortez as an example. They're different, but guys that were out, and Cortez I think has made 3 or 4 rehab starts, by the way, before this trade. Is it realistic that King makes 1 rehab outing and returns, or is it more realistic it's 2?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that I'm not saying that's one of the reasons for the traders or something, but because they could have covered that with anything really. But why would you? I just don't. There's no way. What is he going to do? 50 pitches this time? You don't want to. Bullpen's long and everything, but the guy still has to work back.
So
I've never heard anyone say anything about 1 rehab start.
Yeah, and back to the rotation, Darvish the other day after an extra day of rest, and he looked like that. Maybe the thought process is hey, don't work Darvish every 5th day, because if Darvish gets that extra day, it might help him long term. And in a postseason, you trust Darvish out there.
Yes. Now they attribute what he did to some mechanical, very significant mechanical change. However, I think you're correct, but they have a lot of built-in off days.
They do, yes.
Tons.
Yeah, they have
he gets an extra day. He gets it. I should say built-in. They have built-in extra days because of the off days. So he gets an extra day this time. Let's see. I haven't done the math. So he doesn't get an extra day this time, right? He goes again. No, I'm right. He gets an extra day this time, but then he wouldn't get an extra day next time because they play 6 in a row. But then he'd get an extra day the time after that. So they have so many options to go with now, and that's probably one of the most exciting things, or one of the real benefits, is just how many different ways they can handle the bench, the starting lineup, the bullpen, the starting rotation, and line things up for the postseason. It's kind of remarkable. Especially, you got teams that are going to be playing, like the Cardinals. They're coming in hey, who's on this team anymore?
That was my final question. I mean, you look at, I remember saying for weeks, hey, the August schedule is really going to be like a measuring stick for the Padres, and now it doesn't look like that. I mean, the Cardinals selling off Arizona, San Francisco, Minnesota, all of those teams on the schedule. It looks like a very manageable 2 months. I mean, I guess at this point, it's not about making the postseason. Anything other than that is a severe disappointment. So what's it about? Improving your standing in the National League, getting as high as you can in the wild card race or in the division race? Because right now, anything short of making the postseason is a massive failure for everyone involved.
Oh, I think it was before. You were competing against the Reds.
Right.
That's it. That's all that was left. Unless the Giants did something which they weren't going to do, you have the Reds, and that's still all you're competing against there. But I'm with you. And I think their focus had shifted, and not to say that they weren't going to go do everything they could, because, this is AJ Preller. But, yesterday, the people I talked to volunteered about the division, like as if I wasn't going to remember it. Remember, we can win this division. That's our goal. And so I think that it's try to get a bye. But you're 100% right. It was a failure before this, and now it would be what are we even talking about? What are we even talking about? Let's just remember they got Juan Soto last time, Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, not last time, 2022. And it wasn't until September 15th that they started to actually win. And so I want to see how this goes. I said it twice. I think it was a really good deadline that they addressed everything, that they went out and got O'Hearn, not just, Liriano. They went and got O'Hearn. I loved his quote because it's exactly what I thought it was. AJ's if you want to win a championship, you can't have any weak links. And he did his best to address the weak links. I'm I think it was a great trade deadline. Let's wait and see what happens.
I don't know what I'm going to do now anymore, Kevin, that Martin Maldonado's not on this team.
Yeah. Well, Dylan C still is, so we can talk every time about how it's a big start.
Perfect. Love it. I love it. We just have one thing that we can potentially complain
We get
about.
to up our game. This is like when I went from covering the 2017, 18, 19 Padres to a team that was winning, and all of a sudden you had different expectations in games in August and all that. And now we can start saying, is Dylan Cease good enough to start game 2? Like, that's what we can start talking about now.
Kevin, great reporting. Appreciate you taking time for us. We'll do it Monday from, I'm sure, a warm Phoenix, Arizona, when the Padres open a series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And thanks for doing it today.
See you guys.
All right, great stuff. Kevin Acee, our Padres insider. We react on the other side here until 6. We've got a giveaway for you as well, John and Jim. All right, AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. So we caught up with Kevin on the deadline, just 24 or so hours out. Padres getting ready, of course, for the Cardinals tonight, game one of a 3-game series. And he credited the organization, AJ Preller, for getting it done. And by getting it done, I mean adding salary without taking any major leaguer off the 26-man roster. None of them.
Not a single player.
No one left except the guys that have been DFA'd because they got to go.
They got to go. They got to make
room.
spots. And they got to make room for them. But the thing that's also important to note is all the players that they added, it doesn't add to a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a single player they're allowed to have a contract. Like, oh, he's making $15 million this year. He's got about 5 or 6 left on his deal.
Right.
I mean, Ramon Laureano and making a little bit of money, but nothing crazy. And when you add it up, I don't know, 6-7 million, maybe potentially at tops.
I mean, Kevin reported with us during that interview that it wasn't more than 5. So, that's the most impressive part. I guess if there's a creative part of it is that they didn't add anyone that makes a lot of money. Like everyone wanted Luis Robert Jr., but he makes a lot of money. They probably did better without Luis Robert Jr., truthfully. Luis Robert Jr. is not having the same year as Ramon Laureano. Ramon Laureano has been a much better hitter in the major leagues than Luis Robert Jr. So, listen, whatever obstacles they deal with them very well. I mean, how many times have you had a question about how are they going to do something over the last 5 years? A million? Been a million questions. How are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? By and large, they've overcome the hurdles. It hasn't always worked, like 2023. But by and large, they've overcome the hurdles, and they've done it once again. And they've got this. People penned it the super pen out there in the bullpen, and they've bolstered this offense, and they've done it with very little money. So let's see what it looks like on field beginning tonight against the Cardinals.
I do want to switch gears real quick before we get back to some more Padres at the bottom of the hour here. Did you see what this is completely switching gears. You see what happened today with ESPN and the NFL Network?
That they acquired each other essentially. There's equity from the NFL Network. Like the NFL is going to own some of ESPN, and ESPN is going to have more NFL programming.
ESPN has now acquired the rights to NFL programming off of NFL Network, including NFL Red Zone.
Okay, that's that's
like
significant
for over $1 billion.
Right.
So now you're going to see Red Zone on ESPN platforms. My question would be, is it going to be 7 hours of commercial-free football, or are they going to ESPN this thing up and completely ruin it?
Now, weren't we saying before that they went away from commercial-free last year because he stopped saying that? They finally started changing that up a little bit.
Chris Hansen did, instead of saying 7 hours of commercial-free football, it did just say 7 hours of football.
Right.
And there were some commercials, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so it didn't, I feel like, ruin the overall experience of Red Zone.
Right.
But if ESPN, if they decide to add like
Stephen A. Smith
or Pat McAfee to this,
like we say with the NBA, the inside the NBA.
Well, that's the thing is ESPN now has two properties that don't need any changing and are perfect on their own. Inside the NBA, especially after games. Charles Barkley was I think he was on a podcast. I think he was on a Barstool podcast saying the best thing about Inside the NBA was like that 45 to an hour after the game where they just get to shoot the you-know-what and go in different directions. And that's the magic of Inside the NBA.
Right.
That's the same thing about the Red Zone. The magic of the Red Zone is it's commercial free, maybe a couple commercials here and there, but it's about the games. It's not about any hosts, even though Chris Hansen is amazing.
My guess is this. It's not going to drastically change Red Zone, just like Inside the NBA probably won't drastically change. It's just more of a sign of the times. Like everything just gets consolidated and things just get bigger and there's just less options to turn to. By the way, it doesn't impact this year. Red Zone's still Red
Scott
Zone.
Hansen. Did I say Chris Hansen?
Yeah, he's the guy that would bust the like child molesters.
He's like, take a seat. Scott Hansen. I'm an idiot. Scott Hansen.
It's at least a year. It's at least a year away.
Brett's laughing.
From happening. So it's not going to impact you this year.
And that's good.
Yeah.
But eventually it will impact
the
Red Zone consumer.
But I do wonder, like, what impact, like, we don't know how it'll change. We don't know what it will cost. ESPN's going to get more NFL games out of this deal with the NFL in general. So, I mean, you know what it is? It's ESPN doubling down on what pays the bills, which is football, right? I mean, the ESPN, like, what is separated from everything else is NFL football, college football. It's them doubling down on that. NBA, it's just them doubling down on what has worked for them. But is there any bigger partner to be in bed with, so to speak, than the NFL? No. I mean, it's a complete home run if you're ESPN.
Yeah, it's what ESPN is going to go and have, which is NFL, college football. Those are the two
NBA.
things that NBA, but mostly football drives the conversation on that network 24/7.
So, by the way, the deal will include ESPN will emerge with Red Zone, NFL Network, 7 additional regular season games, and the NFL's fantasy football business coming at earliest in 2026. All right. Are we going to replay Alan Sliwa on the other side? Do we have that, Brent, or no? Okay. We may or may not. Alan Sliwa joined us earlier. We have Jim's back page still ahead. We're getting you ready for Padres and Cardinals as well. We're here until
Scott
6 p.m.
I'm an idiot. Take a seat over here. Take a seat.
I mean, Chris Hansen had a whatever happened, by the way, with Chris Hansen. Did anything happen with him?
Hi, I'm Chris Hansen.
I'll tell you off air.
Yeah, I thought it didn't end well.
I'm Chris Hansen.
It wasn't anything that had to do with him as one of the perverts.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But Scott Hansen, I don't know.
It's okay.
why.
You're not going to be held accountable.
I never am.
Exactly. All right. Stay with us, Sean and Jim.
This update is brought to you by Sid's Carpet Barn. Padres and Cardinals start a 3-game series at Petco tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day: Micah Parsons. He has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys after contract disputes this past off season. With Kohl's Fine Flooring closing, Sid's Carpet Barn in San Diego's undisputed flooring leader, carrying a huge selection of high-end flooring and durable, economical flooring too, all at the lowest prices in town. Visit sidscarpetbarn.com.
There was some what I'd call like fake reporting from John Heyman earlier on the Padres' pursuit of Mackenzie Gore that I basically just made up but wanted to tweet, would be my guess. Because he wrote this. Interestingly, the Padres also made a real run at former Padre Mackenzie Gore, part of the Nats' all-time package for Juan Soto. Not sure anyone came close on the all-star lefty, but the Pods were maybe the most aggressive pursuer.
Okay.
So that's just like tweeting just because you want to be heard. Maybe they were the most aggressive pursuer, the Padres, for Mackenzie Gore. Honestly, I wonder how much of what we read and hear the day of the deadline and the days leading up to the deadline, outside of people like Jeff Passan, maybe Ken Rosenthal, I wonder how much of this has any validity to it at all. I really do wonder that.
Who has the least amount of validity, in your opinion?
I mean, honestly, and I know nothing about him, but every time I see it, it's always off, is Bob Nightingale.
I would go in order.
Of least credible or from most to least, or least
from least to most?
I mean, Nightingale's got to be right there, right?
Nightingale's in last place. John Morosi is, to me, John Morosi, I think after his Ohtani thing last year with Toronto.
Oh, that was bad.
That was awful.
Really bad.
And everything this deadline was just repeating what everyone else was saying.
Like, to the point of 2 days ago, it's like, the people I've spoken with have the Padres not as sellers. Oh, you think?
The Padres are looking to make trades at the deadline.
To add. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I would then go. I mean, Heyman's right a lot, but he's also like just annoying.
Dude, he had Arson Judge to the Giants, right?
He did. That's a bad one.
That was a pretty big miss.
I'll go with Little Kenny and Heyman, kind of neck and neck there.
Okay.
And then Passan is at the top for me. I know there's other reporters out there, but I think if I'm just looking at ones that you might go to look for breaking news.
How do you sleep at night?
You know what? Actually, I'll put Robert Murray ahead of guys like Heyman and Ken now. Robert Murray has turned into a very credible reporter.
I haven't done a deep enough dive on him, but that's an interesting point. Here's what I say: how do you sleep at night? And didn't Heyman freak out on WFAN in New York about Judge?
He flipped out.
But like, how do you sleep when you report Aaron Judge to the Giants and you get it wrong, or you say Max Scherzer to the Padres and you get it wrong? Like that, those are such big whiffs. And again, is it hard to get everything right? Of course it is. And do you want to be first? Yeah, it's the business. But it is amazing how some, I mean, maybe just Jeff Passan and maybe some others in other sports with ESPN, they seemingly always get it right. Now, I'm sure Jeff Passan has missed on something or said something or written something that he would regret or have to take back. He said something, didn't he once say something to Ben Verlander about Ohtani that he got suspended for? I
think so.
I think he did. So everyone's made mistakes. I mean, we're all humans, but it is amazing how Jeff Passan seemingly gets all of the trades right and doesn't whiff. Because when you do miss, like, again, that's what I like most about this job. And some people actually treat radio differently. Some people will report on radio. They'll be like, I have the news. You have to tune in.
Oh,
wait until you hear.
Reporter, talk show host guy.
I mean, there have been people in this market that have done that, right? A lot.
There's still people in this
There's
market.
still people. Okay,
so know and just like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't go about it that way because once you're off, you lose credibility. And I don't feel like that's my job. I feel like my job is to offer an opinion once it happens.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the opinion. I'm in the opinion.
And also there's things I do know and you know too. And I'm like, it's not, you can't share things out of turn. And also you can't try to share things out of turn. And then what if it isn't fully accurate? You have a trustworthy source, but maybe that source got it wrong. Mm-hmm. So I'd much rather react to it than try to get it right. And that's why like Kevin's job, it's a hard job, man. Dennis's job, even it is a very hard job to get things right and to try to be the first and like balance that out.
Yeah, and trade deadline days are always
And Preller,
ridiculous. Yeah,
Preller. I mean,
you're
come on.
You're like, oh, here we go.
I mean, we're sitting there in the middle of the day, like, what is he doing? Oh, he's great. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's awesome. Like you're going back and forth on it.
Here's my question. So when you see the report of like, Padres are nearing a deal with X and player.
Okay.
But the deal's not done yet. Right? Like those tweets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How does the reporter, let's just use John Heyman for an example, get that information, text it to him?
Like just from the agent.
So the agent?
That's my presumption because you're putting pressure, you're leveraging the media for your player.
Yeah, but what if
for or against that team?
But if you're the general manager, you don't always have to call the agent to make sure these deals go through unless they have a no trade clause.
I feel like the agents are probably heavily involved because oftentimes the agents have relationships with the clubs and the GMs, and you're thinking about contract statuses or options.
They'll never do it, but I would love to have like a Netflix documentary of like never before seen access behind the scenes of a trade deadline with like AJ Preller. It'll never happen. But I just want to know what those conversations are like, because I'm sure the conversations are, hey Billy, I don't know if we can do this player. Would you take this player? Would you take this player?
Yeah, it's probably not as sexy as we make it out to be.
No, it's AJ just running through a bunch of players to Billy or whoever else.
Yeah,
he's calling.
And I'm always amazed when people are like today, like, man, he made 5 trades and he traded, I'm making out 15 players and he did it in 7 hours. I'm like, yeah, but it's his job. And he's got a full suite of executives that this is what they're paid to do. Like, he's never going to run out of time. Like, that would be the worst part. AJ Preller going to be, oh my gosh, I forgot to trade for hitters.
No,
man, I didn't realize we only had 30 minutes. What was the famous one I saw today? Like the Red Sox who did nothing, or the Cubs, and there's like a quote. It's a fake quote that says, "Oh, I thought the deadline was tomorrow."
Yeah,
it's not going to happen to AJ Preller. It's not happening in baseball. Honestly, if you want to make a move, you can make a move. If you don't line up with a team, you don't line up with a team. But man, covering Preller in San Diego is kind of unique into itself, because even teams like the Dodgers don't necessarily operate like this year, for example, like the Padres did.
Yeah, I just wish one day we could get that and have it be like, you know, behind the scenes, and it's all shot and produced, and obviously it gets vetted through the team so the team can decide what goes out there, what doesn't go out there, right? But then they release it like a year or 2 years later.
Like a Netflix show. They do that a lot.
Yeah, like looking back on the 2022 trade deadline. Like it's 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that. I think that'd be pretty cool. I would watch the hell out of it.
Yeah,
I love behind the scenes stuff. Like there's right now on Netflix this thing called WWE Unreal, where they go behind the scenes and behind the curtain, and they show you the conversations that are taking place on how they're going to do these matches, and it's basically showing you everything that you never see on television and that you haven't seen with WWE ever.
Right.
And I would love to see that again. It's like a Hard Knocks type of thing in baseball, but I don't know if they'll ever do it. I don't know if they're ever going to allow a camera in the room during a trade deadline with AJ Preller being a madman calling teams back and forth. I would love it. And I know Padres fans would absolutely eat it up, but
I think honestly, I think the magic of Preller is more the moves he makes, not anything he says. He is not an overly entertaining person to me. When I hear him speak, we heard him yesterday for 20 minutes. It is very vanilla. I don't get much out of it. I'm not learning or ascertaining. What I like about AJ Preller and what I respect is all the busy work, all the behind the scenes to make it work. I don't see him as some very personable, outgoing, excitable executive. I really don't. And I've thought that for a long time. I mean, Mike Schilt shows way more personality than AJ Preller. What I respect about AJ Preller is like he's just working and outworking and willing and maneuvering. That's the part of it to me that is most interesting. I can imagine the conversations, honestly, with like the A's being like boring. Hey, Billy, it's me again. I mean, it's we've heard him talk for 10 years.
I'm going to kind of disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because I think AJ is a certain way to the media, and he's completely different off the record. because I've heard AJ speak and I've spoken to AJ before, a long time ago, and I've heard from people like, dude, AJ is a completely different person.
Man, then he's a good actor.
Off the record than he is on the record. When the mic goes on or he's on the phone with a media member or on MLB Network Radio or in front of a scrum, he is as vanilla, like you said.
Super boring.
He is boring. He's vanilla. He filibusters, right?
He just doesn't say anything.
He doesn't say anything. But I feel like off the record, I think he's completely different.
I could see that. By the way, there's an article that was just posted here by Jeff Sanders about Dylan Cease staying with the club. And what I find interesting is that in here it says Preller made sure to talk with Cease on Wednesday before the off day and the trade deadline. And according to Sanders, the gist of it was from Cease just letting him know that from our standpoint, it's this time of year. You're going to hear a lot of speculation. It's the deadline. You're always going to pick up the phone. But when we made the trade last spring, it was designed toward multiple postseason runs. And he said our best team has Dylan Cease on it. He said that to Dylan before the deadline. And then what did AJ Preller tell the media yesterday? He said our best team has Dylan Cease on it. So they did listen. That's what Dylan Cease was told by AJ Preller. But what Preller told Cease before the deadline is what Preller told the media after the deadline, which is what we said repeatedly, which is the better Padres team has Dylan Cease on it, not off it. I agree. I hope it's a kind of like a vote of confidence for Dylan Cease. A vote of confidence for Dylan Cease. You don't have to worry about going anywhere. Get back to the pitcher you're capable of being. We're going to see him a ton in the second half. I mean, he hasn't missed a start here. Hopefully that continues.
Yeah, he's got to step it up.
Yeah.
Because his next start will be next week in Arizona.
Big start?
It's a big start.
Big start for Dylan Cease.
It's a big start.
Jim's back page coming up next. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we'll have a wrap-up show for you tonight following game one of this Cardinals series.
It never ends.
It doesn't end. We're just beginning, actually. We all remember that one teacher made a difference who believed in us, challenged us, or made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you to Big Way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Real quick, before we get to the back page, one of my favorite things is when you get to see a player in college get awarded a scholarship. This played out today at San Diego State during football practice. Xavier Hamlet was awarded a scholarship. He's a guy that has done a ton of the community. He's out of San Diego. He helps the homeless all the time. If you're active on social media and you follow San Diego State football, he'll randomly be out there on the streets helping homeless people. It's incredible. He's with his teammates sometimes. I mean, it's really an incredible story. He was a walk-on. He went to Lincoln High, Grossmont High, and he earned a scholarship earlier today, like unbeknownst to him, right? He was surprised with a scholarship.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So those are the best videos when you get that behind the scenes and you see, like, that means a lot. Like to be on scholarship as opposed to not being on scholarship, the costs that are associated with that. So congratulations to Xavier Hamlet, who earlier today was put on scholarship by Sean Lewis at San Diego State. And you should see the reaction from the team is incredible.
Yeah, that's such a cool story. Going back to my point of, like, I love behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I love things that you're not privy to see on a daily basis if you're a fan, right? I want to see behind closed doors, peel back the curtain.
Right.
That to me always intrigues me with everything. I always want to see behind the scenes of how everything's made.
Yeah, it is. No, you're right. 100%. So yeah, congratulations in order. All right, let's get to it.
All right, a lot of food today on the back page. Chick-fil-A, we all know Chick-fil-A. They're testing out a new smokehouse barbecue nugget until August 16th.
Okay.
And if it does well in the testing locations in the United States, this could hit all stores coming next year.
Smokehouse barbecue nugget.
Yeah, dude.
That sounds good. That sounds really good.
They have the barbecue sauce.
Got you.
But like the nugget, the smokehouse barbecue nugget.
Now, is that available everywhere until August 16th or in limited markets?
It's in limited markets. The test run began on June 30th and it will continue until August 16th. Unfortunately,
it's in Yugoslavia.
The test market is right now in St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, that's okay because the Cardinals are in town.
They are. So
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Maybe they brought some.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have it with them.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Is there carry on?
I would love me some smokehouse barbecue nuggets from Chick-fil-A. Krispy Kreme. We all love Krispy Kreme. They released a new Italian tiramisu and cannoli donut.
Okay.
Krispy Kreme is taking taste buds on a trip to Italy with its latest limited time release, the Passport to Italy Donut Collection, available now through August 17th. The donut you have the tiramisu inspired donut and the cannoli inspired donut. The tiramisu one is filled with tiramisu flavored cream, topped with sweet cream, buttercream, and finished with a dusting of cocoa powder. The cannoli inspired donut is a unique taste on the beloved Sicilian treat. Features an unglazed ring donut dipped in chocolate icing and rolled in cookie crunch, then topped with powdered sugar and a dollop of cannoli flavored buttercream.
Sounds tasty. Right?
It sounds like a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it sounds sugary.
Like, would I have one?
Sure.
100%. Would I have two? Might be pushing it.
Yeah, I don't. If you're going to complain about sugar, I don't think you should go to Krispy Kreme.
Probably not. Yeah. Probably
no,
not.
Definitely not. Speaking of sugar, IHOP.
Yeah.
Is set to release a new. Have you heard of the Dubai chocolate? Like,
yes,
craze.
The craze?
No, I haven't.
Craze is an important
What
word.
is it? What's the difference between Dubai chocolate and chocolate?
About $60.
That is true. It's very expensive. It's like basically like chocolate. It's like a chocolate bar, and inside it's pistachio, right?
Something like that.
I think it's like
Interesting.
it's like a green nut or green pistachio. And it's just I don't even know how to describe it. I'd have to show you it. But Brent's right. It cost a lot of money.
The liquor store by my house, they had, you can get like the normal size candy bars. They had one of those sitting on the counter. And just for S's and G's, I asked the guys like, oh, you got one of those things. How much is that? Thinking he's going to tell me like $10 or something.
10.
He goes, $40.
40
for a candy bar.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yep.
So here's the thing. IHOP's releasing its most luxurious pancakes yet. The Dubai chocolate pancakes on Monday, August 4th at 12 p.m. local time. The thing, though, is the launch is only limited to 3 IHOP locations, one in New York, one in LA, and then one in Austin.
Okay.
All right. There are 2 versions available. The Luxe version, which is valued at over $100, will be given away for free to the first 25 guests at each location. It includes a full Dubai chocolate bar, Madagascar vanilla whipped cream, crushed pistachios, gold glitter, and 24-karat gold edible flakes.
Okay.
The original version will be sold for $13 after the Luxe stacks are gone. It features 4 buttermilk pancakes layered with pistachio cream, hazelnut spread, crispy shredded phyllo, chocolate curls, and crushed pistachios.
But does the $13 version actually include the high quality Dubai chocolate?
It has the ingredients.
Okay. Because $13 sounds then like a deal if this chocolate is so expensive.
I think what makes the Luxe version expensive is like the 24-karat edible gold and gold glitter, like
$100
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you want a luxurious version of IHOP? Yeah, drive up to LA, go to the IHOP up in LA.
I don't normally think luxury pancake. Like when I'm thinking IHOP, I'm thinking value. I'm thinking affordability.
I'm thinking like, can I get a stack of pancakes for like $5?
Yeah, it's great. But when I go to the $100 price range, I'm not normally going.
But those come out free.
IHOP.
It's like
right.
20 the first 24 people.
And $13 for the alternative. I guess that's reasonable. You try it.
Yeah.
Have you had Dubai chocolate in any capacity?
No, but I want to try it.
Yeah, I'd like to try it.
I saw it at a grocery outlet down in Imperial Beach.
How much was it there?
It was like $30.
That's a lot of money.
Dude, it's expensive.
It's a lot of money.
It's not a big bar either. It's like, it's not a small bar. It's a big bar.
Okay.
Like it.
$30.
It's not $30 big.
I want to try just like a bite. I don't need the full bar.
But if you look it up,
Dubai chocolate.
It's definitely a craze.
Is it from Dubai? Is that a stupid question?
I guess.
Refers to it viral chocolate bar. Oh, it went viral on TikTok.
Yeah. The viral
milk
Dubai
chocolate shell filled with a pistachio cream. To your point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I can fill anything with pistachio cream and not have to pay $30 for it. Unless
there's something on eBay for $800.
$800? Like that's what it looks like. So it looks like a regular chocolate bar filled with pistachio cream.
Yeah, pistachio filling in there.
Yeah, it's like thick too.
Are you a pistachio guy?
I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it either, but it's not my favorite thing.
I don't go out of my way to look for it.
Either do I. But I bet it's good in this combination, would be my guess.
I would definitely try it.
Me too.
Because I want to see what it tastes like.
Yeah, no, me too. Now, maybe this weekend, I'm going to like seek it out. Like if it's at grocery stores or I'm not going to go on like eBay and spend $800 on it.
Why not? Be a man.
I bought the $800.
So what if it came with a card?
Yeah, no, I'd rather have cards.
I know. If you had $800 to spend on a Dubai chocolate bar or cards, buy the cards.
If I had $8.
That's true.
Is the music playing?
It is.
Why is it really low in my ear?
Because your headset's
maybe
low.
I need to turn your headphones up.
Maybe I need
volume
to get
on
a hearing test. It was the volume. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Join us tonight. Wrap-up show on YouTube following Padres Cardinals game 1. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.